All right. Well, hello, D&D friends, and welcome to HolyRollerz Descent into Avernus, episode 21, the last episode of HolyRollerz for this year and the conclusion of Descent into Avernus. Possibly, depending, might also be the permanent gravestones left into Avernus, or the 8 faintly entertaining skeletons that were left behind in Avernus. We will see how tonight goes. We are the D&D show about the Hallowed Council, priests from many different gods of Aenia sent by their churches to form an organization to combat extraplanar threats to the world, like cities being sucked into hell. So, HolyRollerz, as you might know if you have watched any of our episodes, is a 9-person stream that was switching off every 2 weeks. We had the Chainbreakers and we had the Sword Hunters. And now we are combined for our final episode. So we will introduce our cast tonight, starting with JT. We will begin introduction to JT, and I put in the chat the order of introductions.
Okay, hey everybody, I'm JT. I play Anduriel, the vampire cleric of Naylock. Naylock being the god of shadows, death, darkness, and creepy things.
You're muted.
Oh, Ryan, darn it.
Again.
You keep moving your mouth and I'll do your words. I'm
okay.
Ryan. I play, sorry.
Texan? You're still muted.
Still muted.
Wow. Well, I guess you can do his intro.
I'm Ryan. I play Lachlan Dulay, Bard of Sindel, and I'm not the best person in this party.
Am I the worst?
I'm 100.
Maybe.
Possibly. We'll roll to find out.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. Please introduce yourself before.
Oh, we don't need to. We already did that intro.
Apparently, I'm Lachlan Dulay from Texas. I'm Ryan. I play Lachlan Dulay. He's the Bard Paladin of Sindel, goddess of love, beauty, and truth, and leader of the Hallowed Council.
I guess that means I'm not leading anymore.
Nope.
Oh.
Lachlan took the spotlight back.
Demoted.
All right. I am Jeff. I play the recently demoted Gizik, who was being pushed into leadership somewhat unwillingly. I also somewhat unwillingly follow Sigrun, the goddess of runes, hags, nasty things, in the best way.
In the good way.
I'm Tommy, and I play Odelia Almiron. I am a cleric of Moirith, the water goddess. I'm a wee halfling, but I'm also quite a bit barbarian.
Hey everyone, I'm John. I play Thora Mikitas, the druid of Finhafara, the goddess of elemental earth.
Hey guys, I'm Ben, and I play Morokan. He's the golden dragon-born cleric monk of Hamina, and Hamina is the goddess of the sun and traveling and the light and cool stuff like that, you know.
And on the total inverse, hello, I am Moth. I am playing Aelin, the cleric warlock of Vorna, the mistress of chaotic magic, witchcraft and mayhem, and also a daughter of Malcantha, who is very much a demon. What could go wrong?
Hello, I'm the last one of this group. I play Lavender, the paladin of Vahara. I definitely remembered the word paladin. And that's my job. That's my introduction.
And we are very grateful to have her here. Lulu is fighting through some what we might call less than stellar feelings right now physically, but she is here. So if she has to back out at any point, she is welcome to come in and out. We love her for showing up. So she gets hearts right at the beginning. So thank you for being here, all of you. We appreciate it. I am Sage of Sorcery, also known as Matt, your humble ginger dungeon master for the evening. Our official commentator is Poinketh, whose reviews we love and look forward to, and you can find on Reddit. I can put our subreddit into the Twitch chat, but so can JT. So we'll have him do that. And that'll be great. And of course, someone will have to do that. So anyway, we are here, and we are here for quite the episode. There is much going on. So let's jump into our recap of what happened the last time. Last time on Holy Rollerz, Anduriel crashed Morokhan's wedding. Literally crashed into Morokhan's wedding to the Siren Madrigal, daughter of the Archfey the Piper, when he ran over the wedding guests in the coach Abour, the carriage of Naylock, god of death, and also knocked Lavender and Aelin unconscious. With only 1 hour given him to use the coach Abour, Anduriel hastily retrieved Morokhan and Gizik in order to rescue Lachlan, Thora, and Odelia from Bel's Forge. Just as Anduriel arrived to free Odelia, Lachlan and Thora's bonds were freed by Saint Malkatia, the demigoddess of dangerous liaisons, as a reward for taking reckless risks. Having talked his way out of further torture, the newly bionic druid Thora leaped past his fire giant captor on his new Hellfire bionic leg, and he managed to enter another wing of Bel's Forge, just as Anduriel used the phasing property of the coach Abour to free Odelia from her cage. Meanwhile, Lachlan dropped his bag of holding over Bel's treasure chest in the throne room, thus snatching all the party's lost equipment and the lance that Bel enchanted with Odelia's rage, and all the party's missing equipment, including their holy symbols, without which they have not been able to channel their clerical powers, which is very frustrating. Now, the Hallowed Council finds itself engaged with a fire giant lava master and a horde of Maragon devils on their heels. And so we will begin in Bel's Forge, which will be a beautiful experience. But before we do that, let's have Lavender and Aelin roll into initiative, please. And Lav, let me open it up and find where you are.
No, it's all good. Lavender rolled a natural 1, so I'm just taking a longer nap in the carriage.
He's okay. Snoozy.
I'm good. You know, Aelin makes a nice pillow. Thank you.
Okay.
10 more minutes, Mom.
10 more minutes, Mom.
So which of us so who has the higher dexterity?
You
Probably Lavender.
It was was one of these.
Did you roll a 1 as well?
Yeah. Twinsies.
Oh, that's so cute.
Maybe you two should just stay in the carriage.
We're just having a good time. You know what?
My
You guys have a
gosh.
nice game. We're just gonna go.
Okay,
Hang in
well,
the death carriage.
Ailen's
Snooze
dexterity is only 10. Let me open up Lavender, dear. And Lavender's is 10. So
can we both just re-roll?
Yeah, go ahead and re-roll.
Alphabetical? I don't know.
15.
It's like they're sisters or something.
10.
That would be creepy.
Oh, Lavender, is that a 15 on the die?
Yeah.
All right, so you got an 18, so we're going to have you go above Lachlan in initiative. And Moth, what'd you get?
No. 5, yeah.
Okay. All right, Moth, you're going last, it looks like. You will. All right, very good. And
It
now,
was almost a 10.
Woke up
almost.
eventually.
And now, since you are both in the carriage, let us have you both please roll the die 20 to see which one of you is collapsed and drooling on top of the other.
17.
20.
Now it rolls well.
All right, so you are in this death coach, Lavender, sprawled out on one of the chairs, and Aelin, you are on top of her with your cloak kind of covering her head, drooling down Lavender's face as you are unconscious. And Lavender and Aelin, you wake up this round on your turns, uncomfortable, and one of you slightly covered in a little bit of drool.
The fact that I'm waking up first,
despite rolling lower,
it's questionable, but it will be interesting. However, unfortunately, we will be. Yes, Tommy?
When she wakes up wet, does she blame Odelia?
I don't know, but if I were Aelin, that would be my first, like, that would be my first thing where I went to. that would be, I mean, I would go there, but it's up to Aylin where she wants to go. She tends to like to take responsibility. Now we will begin this round on the Maragon and Fire Giant's turn. So Thora, guess who comes up right behind you going and
is
screaming?
his last name Giant, first name Fire?
It might be. It might be him. He comes up, Dringowermer, the Fire Giant Lava Master, Forge Master, comes up behind you and goes, "Here now, what you doing? Jumping through the forge without permission?" And he goes, "You got one chance to get back behind me and get back into your restraints." And then he looks at you and he reaches his hand towards that forge that is in front of you, and flame and lava, metal and dross like flies out of that forge in a steady stream, and it comes to his hand and he cracks it like a whip, and he is now standing there with a readied action, Thora, ready to whip you with this magma lash if you don't run back and get into your cage like a good little boy. And that is his turn. The
He just went full
Maragons.
Balrog.
Yes, he did.
I'm
Except
the only
he pulled...
person allowed to use a whip to terrify my party. God damn it.
I know. Well, I don't know what to tell you here. You apparently have whippetition. So, all right, and that is his turn. Now it is the Maragon's turn. Why don't we start with the Maragons that are near Lachlan? Ryan, you're muted. Just thought I'd let you know before we begin. The Maragons will now take their turn, Lachlan. What are they going to do? They are going to...
Stare at me dumbfounded.
High fives all around.
They're going to stare shocked at your beauty. Lachlan, what square are you on? You're still by the chest, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to move to get to you, which is going to be an issue. So they're going to take the run action and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. One of them is in square 4P, and the other one is in square 5P, and they have to take double moves to get to you. Lachlan, they are both going to use their Soulless Eyes attack on you with their minor action. Does a 23 and a 33 hit your will?
The 23 does not. The 33, unfortunately, does.
Okay, so Lachlan, from those masks that are bolted into their fiendish heads, come out these crackling green beams. And one of them you manage to turn and dodge, and the other one you try to dodge hits you straight in the chest. And Lachlan, my friend, you are weakened. Save ends. And that is what they do on their turn. That is all that they can do. That's their turn. Now there are two more Maragons that are on poor Sister Faudever, who never did anything to anybody and does not deserve the treatment that she is. Nobody's buying that. Okay, that she is about to receive. There's nobody here. Is like everybody is in the background cheering for the Maragons. Hit her. Okay. Well, let me bring up her character sheet here because I suspect that she's going to get really unpleasantly whacked. There she goes. Okay, and I have her hit points on here. Yes, I do. Okay, so she's feeling pretty good. She healed herself, but they are feeling really good. So they are going to... all right, one of them is going to use, excuse me. Sorry, I'm allergic to attacking my character. One of them is going to use their double attack and go after her with the halberd twice. And that's a 10 and a 13 on the die, which is a 28, which is a hit, not shockingly, with my 23. And the other one is a 25 and also a hit. So she's just going to take two halberd attacks right up the wazoo. And that's a 7 and a 3 plus 18. So 28 points of damage as Sister Fadaver gets whacked, and that's just one of their attacks.
Isn't the one just to the left of her prone?
The one just to the left of her
I don't
is...
remember if Madrigal had made that one prone or if I...
No, but he is blind. Who blinded him?
Yeah, I did. And
Okay.
so did Anduriel. He's
All right.
double blind, I remember that.
So, haha. So one of those attacks does not hit. Thank you. In fact, I think multiple people blinded him. Thank you very much for doing that. He
Thank you.
missed. He missed just because of that. So I get a few hit points back. And,
You're welcome.
and I will take those. Thank you. I will take those back. So she's not quite as wounded as she was. However, the other one is going to use his devious combination. So he takes the halberd, he puts it across his back, and then he whips out a sword and a short sword, and he starts going at her with like double combinations. And she's too busy parrying the halberds. Let's see how this goes. That's a 28, which is a hit. And oh, that's a 33, which is also a hit. So she is going to take 1d8 plus 1d6. So 4 plus 14. She takes 18 more points of damage, dropping poor Sister Fadaver to 37, while secretly her companions all cheer in the background. They also slide Sister Fadaver between them. She moves into square 6G. So he does this nasty combination on her and goes through it, and she tries to parry, but she's like, woo, 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 like just totally unable to follow. And then he stabs her, and she takes all these vicious cuts, and there we go. They're now in flanking position, and that's their turn. All right, Thora, Mikitas, my friend, guess whose turn it is now?
Odelia's?
It's not Odelia's, Thora. It's the druid with no magic. Go, druid with no magic.
Yeah, with the fire giant right behind him.
There's a fire giant, and he's got a readied action that he wants to share with you.
I'm sure it's fine.
It's
Great.
fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. You can just don't like.
So do you just meekly start walking back to your room? Like, okay.
I mean, yes.
Said it's my turn to play.
I actually think Thora is going to quote unquote follow the order until he is right behind the fire giant, and then he's gonna kneecap him with his metal arm.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
I almost made Moth spit out whatever she just drank.
Okay, so you are going to go walking backwards until he turns around, then, and then you're gonna hit him in the kneecap.
Well, no, I was gonna walk past him as if going back to my cell.
Okay.
And then the second I'm like out of eye shot, I'm going to swing my metal arm into his knee as hard as I can.
All right, would you please make a bluff check, and let's see if he's buying this crap, which he does not appear to be trained in insight.
That is a natural 18.
Ooh, very nice.
And it's half my level, so
Plus your charisma.
which I think is a 0.
Okay.
So 23.
All right, you successfully bluff him. So you start walking back, and he goes, "Now there's a good little piece of druid garbage." And he turns back around, ready to address everybody else. When you come back and go, Donovan Mitchell, bang, there goes the ankle. And moving on, go for it. Now you may make an attack with greater advantage, my friend. You may roll twice and take a melee basic attack.
Okay.
Remember, you're using your strength of 22, which means that, what was your strength previously? 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have +6 more to hit than you normally do.
Oh boy. So that's that one. I'll take that one. 17 on die for a 31 to hit.
That is exactly his armor class. You
Whoa!
got him. Now, you are swinging with your fist.
This is so bad.
And as you swing your fist into the back of his knee, you feel the fiery veins filled with hellfire surging, and you feel like you could release the energy of your melee basic attack and release the Hellfire energy if you wanted to.
The answer is yes.
All right, so roll your melee basic attack. You do 1d8 plus 8.
That's 14.
Okay, so 14 points of damage. Now, because you have released the Hellfire as an encounter, you may now roll 1d20 for damage.
Oh, no. Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's a... Yeah, this is a lot. That's a 15.
All right, so altogether, what was that? Anyone?
I think my first one I rolled 14, so 29.
29, and you also knock him prone, I'm going to rule, because he did not expect that. Okay, so Thora, you don't actually release fire when you strike. It's just supercharged, and you go crack, and you crack into the back of his knee. And Duriel, Sister Fadaver, Odelia, everybody, you see this fire giant go, whoa, whoa. Now, Thora, I'm going to give you a 50% here. If I roll 50% or higher, he is going to fall backwards towards you. If I roll 50% lower, then he is going to fall in the opposite direction. And
Is that at 100?
How did you know?
Because you started laughing.
Sorry. There we go. What are the odds?
That's your
That's
mean
a triple
DM
zero.
There, that's my mean. It's 100. Do you know how many times I've rolled 100% on the die?
I've only rolled it once in my life.
Yeah. So he starts going.
I love Druid savory crepe.
There we go. All right. So Thora, I need you to make an athletics or acrobatics checks to avoid the falling giant. No pressure. Just.
Can I take my 22?
Which 22 would you like to take?
For my athletics.
I'm
using strength.
You can, if you think that will be high enough to defeat him falling.
I'm gonna make a dex to see if I can just avoid him.
Okay, go for it.
Big money.
Oh, what do I add to that? Is it just
half your level,
half my level,
half your level, and your dexterity modifier,
or strength if you're doing,
or strength if you're using athletics, which I would use athletic strength.
You would use strength. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take your advice.
Smart druid.
So 6 plus half your level.
6 plus half my level. 25.
Okay, and that, my friend, is exactly what you needed, because that's
his
that is his reflex defense.
Man.
You are the luckiest freaking druid this evening in the entire universe.
Oh no, this
So-
die is dead now. I guarantee it.
You're like, "Ah!"
Just throw it through a window.
Slam. Okay, there is now a fire giant on the floor in the hallway, and Thora barely dodges. Thora, you're about 3 squares back off the map. Okay.
Do I have any movement left?
You have no movement because you took a movement backwards, and that ended your movement.
Okay, just wanted to check.
Yeah, and no, you're done, my friend. But that was a beautiful turn, and now we'll move on to Lavender. Lavender, you wake up in a beautiful carriage, the inside of which is made out of, this gorgeous and incredibly comfortable blue and red velvet with silver gilding around the edges of the carriage and
Which is a
intricate
beautiful
symbols.
description, DM. But from memory, Aylin's cape is covering my face.
It is.
And her drool is also
and you are
covering
wet. You are
my
wet.
face.
It probably smells like roses or something now because of Malconfit.
And strangely, it could be an aphrodisiac. Your drool now. That's the fact. I don't know. It's like I'm not sure.
I'm strangely into it.
I know you're like this. This is drool, but I don't know. It's up to you. It's up to you, Aylin. It's your
kind
character.
of comforting.
It's CBD oil.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
just it's straight up devil juice.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can hear battle.
Oh, you
in the
hear terrible.
background?
You hear roaring. You hear a thud, and the carriage quivers just a little
and-
bit.
You also hear.
Yeah.
And Lavender lies there because, this is probably what the kind of hell that I would get for questioning Vahara. I'm just gonna lie here in perpetuity
And call it
with
good.
someone that I should never think about lying on top of me, drooling on me.
Drooling all
Very
over you.
comfortable, but also very uncomfortable.
Aelin stirs in her sleep and is like, and
You're
grabs on,
weird.
grabs onto you more, and
Oh.
starts clinging.
Oh no.
You're a teddy bear now.
I mean, yes, but also no.
A very spiky teddy bear encased in a metal suit of armor.
Lavender is quite confused, to be honest. Well, like, I don't think she's gonna pull out a sword and just be like, I'm gonna go outside and stab something. So instead, she's gonna have a chat with Sky Mommy, Vahara.
Okay. What exactly will she be saying to Sky Mommy other than ow or
She is going to close her eyes and do her best to put everything else out of her mind and say, last time we spoke, I was kind of out of line, kind of resentful. I would like to say it was because of where I am, but I think we both know that's a lie. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I just know that I really need your help to get home.
Okay. And the response is, you've always had the power to go home. And you see these two red slippers that are sequins and stuff. No, I'm just kidding. No,
Hey,
that is
Matt,
not the response. You, I'll tell you what the
just turned
response
into a
is.
crossover.
You see,
You know what? I'm too sick for this nonsense. I'm gonna go home.
and now you have to get the Emerald City out of hell too. No, that's not going to happen. No, actually, the response is, there is a glowing that lights up in your pocket, like
Aelin, is that you?
lights up, and then you realize as you see this glowing, since you haven't taken a move action yet, you took your minor action to pray, you realize that there is a black cape or material or robe over your head, and it lights up, and you can see the glow, but you would have to take it out of your pocket.
Okay, I take it out of my pocket.
You can stay under Aelin's clothing during all of this, or is that the plan?
You know, as nice as it is, I do peel that back.
Okay, so you peel that
Carefully.
back,
Pat.
and you peel back, and then that's when you realize that it's Aelin who's drooling and on top of you. So you roll her off of you with a move action?
No,
No, you just stay there like, I don't feel good in the carriage, and
she's just like, you know what? Like, we're both in hell.
Excuse me, sir. That's my emotional support tiefling.
oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
pretty much. I think she's like, yeah, no, this is nice.
Is she like a weighted blanket? Is that what's going on here? You're like,
that's what's going on. I think also it's probably pretty cold in hell, and so she's like, no, this is fine.
No, this is the hot layer, actually.
Uses
so
the cape to wipe off the drool and then puts it back, like, you know.
You use Aelin's holy symbol to wipe off your
Yeah.
That's great. Okay.
Cheers, Vana.
All right. So Lavender, you reach into your pocket and to see that the glowing thing is the holy font stone.
God, this is exactly what I needed.
Don't fucking sniff it.
Don't.
Lara, I'm so glad
Sorry
you
for throwing
approve of my new hobby. I take a big sniff. Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh gosh. So you wake up and while you hear the sounds of battle around you and Aelin unconscious, your first action is huff the holy font. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's that kind of day.
Let's
Okay.
sense this bullshit and wake up.
There's not. Well, your turn is coming, dear.
Like hold it under your nose. See if
Your
you
turn.
sniff it.
Your turn is definitely coming. So here's what happens: you go to huff the holy font, and rather than the usual effect of huffing the holy font, you hear a voice in your head saying,
Sky Mom.
"Don't let my death be in vain. This is the way forward you've been looking for." And that's it. No further
Was I huffing
information.
your ghost?
But however, the stone is glowing pretty brightly. Now, I'd like you, if you would please, to make a knowledge religion check, or just a religion check.
Yeah, 14 plus religion.
Okay. And give me 2 seconds. Your religion, friend, is really high. 27. Okay, Lavender, there is a soul trapped in this little stone. This is not just a figurine of wondrous power. This is not just a holy font residue that you've been snuffing. There is a living holy font celestial soul trapped in this stone.
I look at
And-
the stone and I go, look, listen, I may be a paladin, but I'm currently a paladin stuck in hell with a baby devil on top of me. And what in Vahar's name is she doing, giving me yet another burden to deal with? I can't do anything for you. That's not what I wanted.
Okay. And you hear the voice one more time say, "Bitch, get back up and get moving." And that's it. And other than that, and really that's all. That's all that you, I mean, it's just that, and it's gentle too, you know, it's all with love. It comes
Doesn't
out
make
from
it better. Babies are gentle, but they're still a responsibility.
It's saying,
It's
girls,
true.
sashay in there and pick yourself up.
There we go. Okay. And that is the Holy Font's response. Lachlan, my friend, we are on to your turn. Lachlan, you're weakened, and there are 2 Maragon right in front of you, and you're in a bad way. And you're muted again. But I'm okay with that, really. It's just a lifestyle choice. And
Ryan, we want to hear you.
well, now I
am-
wouldn't go
I'm-
that far.
I am
wouldn't go
considering
that.
breaking out in song.
Oh,
but
oh my.
not yet.
I just figured you were swearing like everyone else and you decided to mute yourself, so like nobody had to mute you.
Is that what was going on there?
No, I was crunching on a gobstopper and didn't want it to
Oh, that's
poor
better
poor
actually.
Poinketh to be like, what was that strange noise? All right. I think I'm gonna start with a move action to use my rift boots and teleport 6 and just spin away like Sailor Moon away from these guys.
Okay.
And leave them dazzled.
Alrighty. Well, they're not adjacent to you yet, my friend.
I thought they all moved to be.
They did. No. They couldn't get you. Remember, you're by the chest.
Oh, okay. Well,
but you could take a move action next to them and then teleport.
Well, don't I want to go down that path in the top left-hand corner? Doesn't that take me out of this place?
Well, you could head in the opposite direction, but there are literally formations of Maragons marching around the front of Bell's Forge. So
where's my escape route?
Well, the only place you have is that pathway, that passage that you see next to the wall of lava. Unless you would like to run headlong into Bell's standing army in the front. That's going to take you quite a few movements.
So this pathway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go... I will take the run action twice to be in G3.
Okay. All right, Lachlan, that is your turn. Lachlan, you hear some really ruckus sounds coming from down that hallway. There's a thud. There's a really loud thud down there. and you hear swearing. I mean, it's all, there's all kinds of stuff going on there, screaming. You even catch a few of Sister Fodiver's like just, you know, comical, but she's getting stabbed, and everyone else seems to be laughing. It's really kind of sad. Like the only one who might feel bad is Thora. All right, that is Lachlan's turn.
I think I'm going to use Virtue just in case they catch up to me, because I want the temporary hit points. So
all right, very good.
So a nice rosy shield will go right over my weakened self, and I need to save against that weakening, right?
Yes, you do.
Nope, still weakened.
Okay, well, it could be worse. Alrighty, so that is Lachlan, and now it is Sister Fodiver's turn. The first thing she's going to do is use Lay on Hands on herself and get herself a lovely 10 plus her surge value and get 28 hit points back because she is really, really hurting. Okay, and then she is going to, unfortunately, they both saved versus her shout of condemnation. So they are no longer taking thunder damage, and her voice returns to normal, for which everybody in the chamber, I'm sure, is slightly grateful. But she's still shouting at them that they're sinners and they're horrible people. And she's going to use Resurgent Smite on, which one does she want to use it on? She's going to use Resurgent Smite on the one that is on the left. And that is a 12 plus 14, which is a 26. And that is exactly what she needed to hit, a 26. 'Tis the season. All right, Resurgent Smite is 2d10 points of damage. And that is going to be a lot. 19 plus 6 is 25 points of damage. And an ally can spend a surge. And is anybody else wounded by here? Odelia or Moralcon, are you guys wounded?
I don't.
I'm not actually.
Okay, well then I will take that surge also because I desperately need it. So she lays on hands and uses Resurgent Smite. So while all of this is going on, they stab and hack her up and spin her around and push her between them. And she's got all these bloody wounds. And then she goes, oh, and she heals her and she stabs one of them and pulls out red energy and absorbs it. And all of her wounds heal back up. So she is back to full. And their masks have no expression whatsoever. They're bolted into their heads. But you swear that two of them make this sound like, you know, like just this frustrated, like, dude, like kind of sound. And that's really bad. And that is such fun. Gizik, my friend, it is your turn. One of those little critters next to her is hanging on by a thread. If somebody pees on him, he's going to die. The other one is pretty healthy and hale, hasn't really been touched too much.
Well, I'm going to attack both of them with 3 stones.
Okay.
Pick up some rocks and throw them at them.
What does that target? Reflex?
Yeah, reflex.
Okay, their reflexes are 20.
That's not too bad. All right, so for the first one, that's a 31.
That's a hit.
Second one is a 20.
That is also a hit. Very good. All right, roll it up. Let's see how much.
All right, so I think this is... it's target 2. I think I'm just going to roll damage once for both of them. All right, so that is 21 damage.
Okay, so you obliterate the one that she just unloaded on, and the other one is not your friend. He doesn't really like you all that much.
All right, then I call out, everybody get in the carriage, let's go. And I walk back to it and climb in.
You walk back to it and climb in.
It's only a few squares away from me, right?
Yep, you are more than welcome. So Gizik annihilates the one behind Sister Fodiver. and then he gets back in the carriage and tells everybody else to go. And that is Mr. Gizik's turn.
Do
All
I
right.
have to take a turn to allow him into the carriage, or how
No,
does-
because you did that on your last turn.
Okay.
The carriage is still in receiving mode because you used
Perfect.
your last turn on that. However, if you don't do it again, it's going to go back into how should we call this? Death delivery mode. Let's call it that.
Not good.
No, not very good at all. Okay. All right, and that is going to be Morocon and Madrigal, the happy couple. It's the happy couple's turn.
It's Eminem's turn.
There we go.
So which one has gone down? The one on the left of
The one on
Sister
the left
Father?
is dead. The one on the right of Sister
Perfect.
Faudever is injured, but not a ton. He's not even bloodied yet.
Okay, well, I am going to... Oh, by the way, my Blades of Holy Fire aura is up, so add 1d6 to your radiant damage to your attack.
Okay. I don't think they have radiant resistance. Let me check. No, they do not. Okay. Thank you. I will take that. Alrighty.
Okay, I am going to move a couple squares up, just right next to Sister Faudever.
Okay.
To H7.
Alrighty.
And I am going to... You know what? I have not done this attack before. I'm going to do Warning Strike against this dude in front of me. So yeah, I'm going to... It'll be a pretty smooth motion where I will slide up 3 squares and just do this spinning backhand against this guy, Warning Strike. That's going to be a 26 against AC.
That is exactly what you needed.
Oh, perfect.
A lot of that going around tonight.
For those of us who pray to Sky Mommy, but that's fine.
Oh, man. Well, I'm glad I hit him, but I rolled... So it's 2d8, and I rolled 2 1s, so yay.
Woohoo.
So it's a 9 plus 5, so 14 damage against this guy.
Okay. He doesn't enjoy that. He makes a point of telling you that with his grunt and probably a few fiendish swear words, which is the theme of the evening. And
right. And while I am there, I am going to I'll use my dragon breath and breathe into my fire flower and get the extra defense.
That's probably not a terrible idea.
And
okay.
then Madrigal is going to knock him prone.
Okay. All right. He is prone then, which is bad for him. All right. And Gizik took out the other one. Sister Faudever is back up to full. Okay. Very good. Madrigal knocks him down. She just makes a little slick of water underneath him. And the water actually comes up like a wave and slaps him down a little bit like how Odelia does Buffeting Wave, but with just a bit more control over the water, it seems. And
nice.
She just lets out a little giggle. And she says, darling, I do think we ought to get back into the carriage, as fun as this is. Best not to linger. There's a standing army in the front, don't you know?
Oh,
then
I don't disagree.
She pinches your little dragonborn behind after she does that. And she says, but you hit people so enthusiastically. It bodes well, dear. It bodes well.
I give the Pillsbury Doughboy. Woohoo!
Okay, very good. All right, that is Moroccan Madrigal. Aelin, it is your turn. Aelin, you wake up on top of Lavender, and she has a glowing stone in her hand that she's sniffing. You wake up to Aelin sniffing this glowing stone, and a big old wad of drool comes out of your mouth and drops onto Lavender. You realize you've been drooling onto her like the entire time. You're in a carriage. You don't remember being in a carriage.
She comes to very slowly and then suddenly realizes the situation and just jumps back to the other side of the carriage.
Okay.
No, sorry about that. Why is there a carriage?
I don't know, to be honest.
Why are you snipping the Hollyphant again?
I was, and then it started talking to me.
Probably because
And
it
now
was a
I'm
Hollyphant?
pretty sure it's a trapped soul.
Well, yes. What else would it be?
Drug of choice.
Oh,
It
you
can be
know?
both.
Oh wait, isn't Gizik in the carriage with you guys now?
Yes, he
Yeah.
is.
He is.
Oh,
We're just
okay.
choosing
They're
to
kind of
ignore
wrapped up
Gizik.
in each other, though. I don't know if they've noticed me.
No.
I'm gonna check. Do I suddenly notice him? That was cocked.
I don't know. Ogre steps into the carriage. Do you notice?
Hard not to.
You're not a full
12.
ogre.
Suddenly, she's like, oh, and Gizik's here now too. Gizik, where are we? Why is there a carriage?
Wait, Gizik, you didn't say anything when I...
I just barely stepped in, right? It's been seconds.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, you guys are awake now. This is Anduriel's carriage. We're in Hell's Forge right now, trying to get out."
Well, this just took a turn. Well, I won't ask why Anduriel has a carriage in hell.
It's not really his. I think we have about 40 minutes left until it disappears.
Aelin,
And
would you make a religion check, please?
Okay.
You also have a carriage in hell.
Like an
28.
Oprah Winfrey
Hey,
episode. You have a
You
cat.
needed a 25, Aelin. Aelin, you recognize this carriage. You're like, oh, a carriage, and then you look around. There are symbols etched into the silver of death that are difficult to recognize for someone who is perhaps not trained in religious iconography, but you are well trained in religious iconography. So you're looking around, you're like, oh, it couldn't be. And then you're like, there's a wispy, shadowy energy emanating off the carriage. You peek out the side. There is a headless coachman who is sitting in the front, and you're like, this is the death god's carriage. And you know, with a check that high, Aelin, that if it goes out, it has to come back to Naylock's kingdom with a living soul. And you're in it. So's Lavender. So's Gizik.
Being in this carriage when it disappears is not a good idea.
Why not?
Would you like to be delivered onto the god of death?
Yes. Right now, yes.
Is that Lulu answering, or is that Lavender? That's not. Who's answering that question?
Both.
Okay.
Well, I'm not quite ready to sign my life away. So, Gizik,
To be fair, Aelin, you already have. Twice.
no comment. And you're not. And how are you want to talk as well? He's in a pod. We are. Well,
I have no
Gizik,
argument with that.
what
we
is
have
your
time.
plan?
My plan? I want everybody else to get in here with us so we can leave.
Everyone into the death carriage?
Well, I mean, we have some time.
To get
I'm
everyone
going
into
to-
the death carriage?
I'm going to poke my head
Well,
back out.
we don't want to stay here in the forge. We need to go somewhere else, and the carriage will take us somewhere else.
Can
we
I
have
see where
we have time to
everyone
get
else
there.
is?
Yeah, if you pop out the carriage, Aelin, you pop your head out the carriage when you are making your religion check, and you see Sister Fadaver and Morokhan in pitched battle with a Maragon demon, those soldier demon or devil, sorry, those soldier devils that have iron masks nailed into their faces, expressionless masks, and you see also Odelia and Anduriel, who are just ahead of the carriage, doing their thing.
Hmm.
And there's an enormous fire giant on the floor, and Thora is to the side of him, but he don't look right. But you can't tell from this distance what's wrong.
Well, I probably don't. No, my strength's 10. I definitely couldn't carry anyone.
Nah, it's highly doubtful.
Could I
However,
provide
you
a
are within
distraction?
range to hit that Maragon with one of your spells if you chose to.
I'm gonna open the other carriage door and not even hit my feet on the ground, just going to launch off of it into the air
Okay.
and try and provide a distraction.
Okay. What kind of distraction would you like to provide?
So who's looking like they're in the most trouble at the moment?
Well, Sister Fadaver's robe is cut up to ribbons, but Thora looks he looks to be well, I don't know. It depends. Thora's got an angry fire giant lava master on the floor next to him, and it is on the floor, but it's flailing around with a whip like the Balrogs made out of molten lava. And Thora's like, like ducking around, and he don't look right. One of his arms and one of his legs is distorted somehow. You can't really see though from this distance. We're at the end of your casting distance, like the very end. Your spells have a range of 10. This is about as far as you can go.
Okay. So I can get a little bit closer.
You flew closer. Yeah.
Yes. Now she's going to shout at the one who has hit poor Thora. Just grab his attention.
Okay.
Before casting Eye Bite.
All right, go for it. Make your attack.
So I believe that's versus will.
It is.
Yes.
I don't think I have the most updated version of your character sheet. I hope you have it.
The most updated version I have is level 7.
That's correct. I don't have that, unfortunately.
Have that.
It's on my flash drive.
I'm just trying to figure out. It's still +9.
Your attack bonus is right up above your powers on the left.
Yes.
And your damage bonus. Yeah.
So that is 23.
That's a hit. You got him.
Okay. And I may as well
use your curse.
Yeah, you use my curse.
Go for it.
That's 1d8 plus 7 plus 2d8. I have the right dice. So that's an 8 plus 7 plus I need to roll
15?
my other 2.
15 plus your curse.
That's another 8.
Ooh, okay, so 23 points of psychic. He has no psychic resistance whatsoever. So that actually hurts him quite a bit. And now he is somewhat blinded and he cannot see you because of Eye Bite.
I am invisible to him.
Which is great for you. Not so much for Thora, but it's good for you. Yeah, he roars. So Thora, he's wailing because you knocked him down. He grabs his, he's like, oh, my knee. And Aelin, what does it look like when your Eye Bite hits him? Is it a gaze attack? Is it a blast? Is it?
It's a gaze attack, and you wouldn't be able to see it from how far away she is, but her eyes just go pitch black and become like dark vortices.
Okay.
And it echoes in his own eyes before there's sort of a pulse.
Okay.
And it's while only he feels it, it's just you feel very uncomfortable.
Okay, so Aelin's eyes go black, and Duriel, you have a good. She flew right over your head, so you have a pretty good view of her. So does Odelia. Her eyes go black, and they crackle with kind of this black energy. And the fire giant's flailing, and he starts getting up, and then he goes, "Ah!" and he grabs his head and starts flinging his head back and forth. He takes the lava whip and he accidentally brings it up and burns his head, and he's like, "Ah!" and it's just a mess. And back to the top, Anduriel, it is your turn, my friend.
Okay.
Yes, and the rest of the party now knows that Aelin has wings now.
And she is flying on demon wings.
When did she get wings?
And she's just shouting at Thora to get up.
Yeah.
All right, Red Bull does give you wings, apparently.
Come on, Thora. You just jumped 20 feet. Why can't you jump 40? Jeez.
Come on, Thora. So Anduriel's going to kind of reiterate what Gizik just said. He's going to just yell out to the party, "Everyone, stop trying to pound on things. Get in the carriage. We need to get Lachlan and get out of here." And then he's going to yell to the driver, "Driver, come get me."
Okay, but Sister Fada Bear goes like, "King, but we're winning!" And that's what she yells back at
Not
you.
the point, sister. Not the point.
Okay. The carriage on your minor action command, Anduriel, is now moving, so it's insubstantial. So it passes right through the forge, and it is over you. So the carriage has actually moved over you. Those 9 squares are now surrounding you, Anduriel.
Can I now have it go pick up Odelia, or will that?
You ordered it with your minor action to come to you. You have a move and a standard to do with what you would like. So if you would like to take your move action to order the carriage to take another movement, you can do so.
Okay. Morocon, where did you end up?
He's right ahead of you.
I'm right next to Sister Fada Bear.
Okay.
Pounding
so
on the dude in front of us.
It's big enough so that if I pick up Odelia, I could then pick up Thora and Sister Fada Bear and Morocon.
You have
the
2
carriage
actions.
is big enough.
You have 2 actions left. You have a move and a standard. If you take 2 moves, then you can move the carriage twice more on your turn. The first move with your minor action was the driver's turn, but you have 2 more. So you could conceivably pick up Odelia and also Sister Fada Bear and Morocon.
I would like to do that.
All right, so the carriage stops over Sister Fada Bear and Morocon. Odelia, the carriage flies through you, which is like, Odelia, you look back and this team of 4 horses comes charging at you, and you're like right through it, and then it passes through you, and your back slams into the back seat of the carriage. And then
I'm really angry to have been taken out of the battle.
Okay, so Odelia is furious in the carriage, Anduriel.
You're also staring at Lavender, who's once again holding the glowing rock.
Bullet halfling.
Concerningly close to her nose.
Odelia, you slam into Gizik too, like into the side of him, and in there's plenty of room in this carriage, but you slam into him, and Morocon, same deal happens to you, and the Minigon takes 10 points of necrotic damage from having the moving carriage run into him, which is, where did I put? Oh, here we go. Okay.
That's a big ouchie.
Yeah, well, 10 points of necrotic damage. There are some people who can ignore it and others who can't. And that is where it stops. Odelia, it is your turn, sister.
Say, why are we leaving this place? We haven't killed all these creatures.
Well, Odelia, the carriage is insubstantial, and there is now a Maragon right next to you.
Oh,
so
okay.
if you would like
have a go.
Moving.
If you would like to have a go at him, it's pretty surreal because all of you now you're all sitting in the carriage, but the Maragon is standing, and the carriage is like he's inside of it because it's phasing and insubstantial. So he's
actually prone.
He's prone. Well, okay, so never mind, Odelia. He is right under you, with his halberd sticking up through the carriage, phasing through it.
All right, Odelia is just going to take her harpoon and do a howling strike and just,
all right, get him.
All right.
You have combat advantage, Odelia.
So that's that's a
+2.
+2. Okay. That is a 20.
20 total?
Yeah.
Okay, unfortunately, Odelia, that is a miss. Even with your +14 to the roll, that you rolled a 6?
Yes, I can laugh.
Okay, so
I
just wanted to make sure it had actually happened. So Odelia, you take your harpoon and you're like, ah! The rest of you, Odelia flies into this screaming fit and is like stabbing her harpoon in every direction. Aelin, she almost takes out your left nostril, and Duriel, she's jabbing down and almost hits your boot. But you hit you're muted, Moth.
Am I still flying or?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're not in the carriage anymore. So Gizik, she almost hits your left nostril. Morokhan, she's screaming, and you hear a clank, clank, clank as Odelia strikes into the ground, and there is a lot of rage, but less hitting, unfortunately. We'd really like to give her that.
Right.
You still have a move and a minor. You could leave the carriage. You can stay in it. You can scream. You can yell at someone. You can rebuke Anduriel for forcing you into the carriage. You can.
I will just use it to yell at Anduriel. Let me out of this contraption.
Okay.
Can he respond?
Of course.
By all means, halfling. Jump out, we'll go get the bard, go save Avernus, and you can stay here fighting these monsters. I appreciate your energy, but let's channel it towards something else. Can we please?
Fine. And she sits down and just...
Okay.
I like that one.
Very angrily. Okay. All right, and that is Miss Odelia's turn. And now back up to it is Evil's turn. Okay, the giant gets up, Thora, from his prone position, absolutely furious and enraged. He can't see Aelin, but he sees you right next to him. And he seems like feels like it would be a good time to strike at you with that lava lash. What is your reflex, Miss Thora?
That's a funny joke.
Is probably.
God, I always forget where the.
So it auto crits.
Well, let me put it this way: does a 25 hit your reflex?
Well, there's no way it doesn't.
Okay, he brings that lava lash down on you, Thora, and does. Let us see what he does. He does 18 points of fire damage. And he pulls you 4 squares adjacent to him. So you are now adjacent. If you end the move adjacent, you are grabbed. So Thora, he goes Gandalf ankle, and it burns into your leg, and he yanks you towards him. You are now, Thora, in square 1J again, right next to that bad boy.
What was the total?
18 points of fire damage.
Okay.
And he pulls you nearer. And that is where you find Mr. Lava Master. The Maragon takes 10 more points of damage because he starts his turn in the death carriage, more or less. He takes 10 points of necrotic damage, and he runs. He bolts past the forge. So he's going to take...
He didn't like it?
But, so I did Warning Strike. So on his turn, if he doesn't attack me, I take an attack of opportunity against him.
So you're going to get 2 then, or I guess you can only have 1 per round, but go ahead and take it because he is running for his afterlife.
And the cool thing about Warding Strike is I get a +4 to my attack and damage. so I'm assuming a 30 is going to hit him.
Yes, a 30 would do it.
That's better than a 1. That's going to be an extra 13 points of damage against him.
Okay. He doesn't look like he can take too many more hits like that, Morokhan. He bolts. Sister Fadaver swings her greatsword as he runs away and yells at you, "He's getting away! Don't let him get away!" And she nearly takes off your head. She's like, whoosh, with the sword. Wild swing, totally misses. And then he bolts. He goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, and that's it. So he gets to square 14N, and that's as far as he can go because he had to stand up from a prone position. And that is it for his turn. And
next
now,
person to swing a weapon in this carriage, I swear I am leaving.
And
I will turn this carriage around.
Don't you think
I will send you back with it?
Okay, Ryan, Lachlan. They go running at you, and they are both going to charge and attack you with their halberd. So they are now on you in squares 4 and 3G, respectively. But they can't use their double attack because it's not a melee basic.
I'm
Oh,
in
you are
3G.
so freaking lucky.
I'm in 3G.
You're in 3G. Yes, you are in 3G. So they're right to the right of you.
Okay.
So 3H, okay, and 4H. Okay, and whack, Lachlan, my friend, you take one of them is a miss, and you take 11 points of damage, and you're marked, and the other one hits you.
From the miss?
No, from the hit. Sorry.
How do you know it hit me?
Well, because he rolled a 19, and a 19 with this plus 15 is a 33. Now, if you have anything that's, I mean, well, by all means, we have about 50 minutes left in this episode, but if you'd like to stop and do some more math, I'm more than happy. I'm more than happy to. As Tommy pointed out, I am quite proficient in math. I love doing it for people, even if they do it. So that would be a hit. However, that's all they can do. So that is their turn. And you, Thora, it is your turn, my friend. You are grabbed.
Wonderful.
I guess depends on how you look at it.
Yeah. So, not familiar with grapple in 4E. Is there any way to break it?
Absolutely. You can use a move action to break a grab. It's basically opposed strength checks.
That'll go well.
With the fire giant.
Actually, let's look at his strength here. He only has 2 more points of strength than your bionic arm. So you actually might beat him. So add half your level and your +6 strength bonus.
$24.
Unfortunately, he got a 27.
Yeah.
So Thora, you pull away with your arm and try to bash out, and you just cannot get out. Now you have a standard that you could try it again, but that would be it. Or you can hit him, or it's up to you. You want to try to break it again, or whack him with your fist?
Do I get the sense that I could use that charge again, or do I have to charge it up again?
No, you see that the hellfire that was surging through your veins is now cooled, or it's absent. You can feel it kind of like revving up again like an engine almost, but it's just
gonna take
not
time.
there. It's going to take a wee bit. Yeah.
I'm going to try to escape again.
All right, go for it. Opposed checks.
Whew. Half my level plus my
+6.
29.
All right, that beats his 25. So Thora, you break away from the lava lash, my friend. You have a minor action left. Now, you could take your action point to run for the carriage. It is right next to you. And because it has been moving, it is currently insubstantial. You could run into the carriage if you wanted to, but it's up to you.
That being said, if I do so, I am likely to take necrotic damage. Am I correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
actually
he
you
hasn't
would.
been invited.
You
Yeah,
would,
I
because
have not been
Anduriel did
invited.
not use his last turn to say the command word.
In which case, I will use my action point to make a run. Can I? How many spaces can I go with like a? Would I be able to use a dash at all, or is it just?
You can move 8 spaces.
Okay. In that case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not quite adjacent, but on J9.
You also take 22 points of fire damage from his attack of opportunity as you run.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'm still standing.
All right. Yes, you are. You're still standing. Okay.
I'm bloodied, but
okay. What square do you wind up in?
J9.
All right. So you are just under the carriage then. Did you want to be in the carriage or under it? Or past it?
I wanted to be just past it, so
okay.
like they could literally just like like
Okay,
absorb
very good.
me as they drive over me.
Okay, so Anduriel, Bionic Thora goes like running, thud, and he makes a weird thudding sound as his iron leg strikes the stone of the chamber, and he goes
Tap,
running
thud,
past it. He's
tap,
like
thud,
thud,
tap,
thud, thud,
thud.
thud, past there, and that is his turn. And that is Thora. Lavender, it is your turn. Aelin has left the building. You are in the carriage.
Yeah, but the door is open.
The door is
I can
open.
see out.
Yep.
All right, cool. Force spheres as an action,
Okay.
and then minor action. We're gonna start ditching them at people.
Okay.
Because that seems like the right thing to do.
You can throw it at the fire giant, or you could huck it at the Maragon who's running away.
We're gonna go for fire giant because he seems more active.
He is active.
He seems like a bigger threat, so that's cool. 12 plus 10 is 22.
Okay. And unfortunately, that does not hit his 27 reflex.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
All right. So Lavender, you conjure up, you have a raging headache, which is probably why you missed, because you got run over by a carriage today. So you step out of the carriage and you concentrate your psionic energy, and those 4 little spheres materialize right around your head, and you huck one, and it goes, you get just a headache pain, and it goes flying into the wall right next to the fire giant, and
Can I use
makes
my action point?
You absolutely can. You want to throw another one?
Use mind lock?
Oh, you want to mind lock him? Okay, mind lock him. Go for it.
Cool. All right, so this is versus Will. Natural 20.
Ooh.
Hey. Yeah.
Oh, back it up. Roll to confirm your crit, sis.
8.
Nope. But it's a hit.
Yeah, so that's 30 to hit. So then 1d8 plus 6 psychic damage. 7 plus 6.
Okay.
13. And
Alrighty.
they're slowed.
Oh, he loves you. Okay, Thora, he's not bloodied yet. But as Lavender hucks this orb at him, he's like, "Oi now! What are you? Oh!" And then he grabs his head again because Aelin and Lavender keep hitting him with psychic attacks. So he's now got this raging headache. And Thora, you see, because you're the one who's looking back, right? You're in the carriage. You see this look of concern cross his face, like, they're hitting me. Maybe I'm not safe. Where are all the guards? Like, and he's not scared, just a little concerned. Like, this could be bad. Never seen a live carriage run through here before, and there's a flying tiefling, and I don't know, people are throwing things at me. It's not really cool, man. I really like this place. Like, I'm wearing chains too. It's like, dude, I do, man. So that's his reaction, except with a Cockney accent. Okay, and that would be his turn. And now we are moving on to Lachlan, my friend. What would you like to do? They're on you.
Now I would like to use my my rift boots
Okay.
to teleport away from them.
All right. Do you want to demonstrate that on camera, what that looks like as you spin, or you just call that good? Like,
no, just picture a very brief Sailor Moon moment.
Okay.
And that will, and so I'll teleport and then take the run action to run.
Okay.
Down yonder hall.
All right, Lachlan, you are going to wind up in square 25K.
So when you dazzle out, do you do this?
Yeah, exactly. All right, Lachlan, he puts 1 foot behind him and starts spinning in place and vanishes in a burst of golden sparks. And they both hold up their hands like that. And then you run, and Thora, you get a good sight of Lachlan come running into the passageway into this area of the forge.
And I can now see the carriage and
you
allies.
Can see there is a carriage and 4 horses and a very not looking like Thora standing in front of you. He has had, you can see clearly from where he is, he has been bionically replaced. He's wearing his underwear too. It's not like it's covered in robe. He has an arm and a leg that have been replaced by some kind of an iron contraption. It is nice craftsmanship. It's very impressive, but it don't look right. So
with my minor action, I will yell out, Thora, I have our stuff. We got to get out of here.
I agree. Please, let's move.
And Aelin is flying over the carriage on bat wings that you have never seen before. Maybe it's a warlock spell. Maybe it's Maybelline. So there you go. Could be anything. And
I'm not expecting to see her. So the side of her, I'm thinking, what kind of weird torture chamber is this? Making us see our allies. He doesn't. Not quite sure that it's actually her.
All right. Sister Faudever, for her turn, leans out the side of the carriage with her greatsword, going, "Ride past the devil! I can get a hit!" And she waits and readies her action, hoping Anduriel will ride past the Maragon. And now it is Gizik's turn.
He will sit very properly in the carriage, just patiently waiting for this ride to continue.
Does he alter his clothing at all as he waits?
There's not really a point right now. It's already pretty fancy.
Okay. All right. Morokhan.
Picture him looking kind of like Forrest Gump on a bench, just sort of sitting there waiting for the ride to be over.
Or sipping tea like John is demonstrating.
Okay.
Oh, except pinky out.
Pinky out. All right. Anduriel's turn is going to come up next. Everyone else is in the carriage. So, Aelin, are you going to get into the carriage while... You don't have to. You can fly behind it.
Can I keep up with it if it does, though?
Well, and do you phase through walls is the other question.
Yeah. Do I feel like I've caused enough of a distraction to be able to get us out of here now?
You feel like at the rate the carriage is grabbing people, you better get on.
Okay.
Get your ride on. The giant is looking concerned, so you could possibly irritate him further, but you might miss your carriage ride if you do, and that could be bad.
I'm flying for that carriage.
Okay, so Aelin, you fly into the carriage, and Duriel, it is your turn, my friend. Where do you go? Do you pick up the Thora? Do you head towards Lachlan? What do you do?
We're going to try and get both on this turn here. I'm going to order the driver. Driver, you see the... Okay, how do I explain? He used to be Bugs, and now he's sort of metal, sort of not. He's the one. Let's go get him, please.
Okay, so the driver swings the carriage around, has to take a little bit of his movement to turn the carriage, and then he rides over Thora. Thora, the carriage insubstantially picks up for you. Ender, I'm assuming you're going to shout the command word.
Yep, he's going to say, "There's room for one more, driver."
Okay, the carriage goes insubstantial, but Thora, it runs over you, and then your front slams into Gizik. As it picks you up. You are now lying on top of Gizik as he forcibly picks you up.
Very sorry, Gizik. I apologize. I'm not in clothes.
He's really heavy too, Gizik. Like somebody has been snacking late at night.
Protein shakes.
Yeah.
And of all the people that have metal limbs, it's the druid.
Yeah.
What happened to you, Thora?
Well, half Thora.
Decided to try to turn me into a golem.
Well, that's
looks like
delightful.
It partially worked.
Okay, Sister Faudever says something under her breath about being a half elf and a half golem and being like double bastard, but she says it like really. She says it really, really quietly, like, and with a sad look on her face, no judgment, just great pity on her face, like it just terrible.
Welcome back, Druid. We're gonna go pick up the bard.
Perception check.
So then, for I guess my next action, can I see Lachlan?
Yeah, you're heading right at him.
He's entered the okay. Bard, I'm gonna kind of put my head out the window. Bard, we're gonna come pick you up. Don't freak out, okay?
Okay. Well, it's your move action. So your minor action is to tell Lachlan not to freak out, and you pick him up. Long story short, jump ahead. Everybody gets picked up into this carriage. And where do you head, Anduriel?
Well, I've got to get some information. We got to get some information first. Okay. All right, everybody. Here's the deal.
You
This
gonna wait?
carriage.
You gonna wait here in hell in the forge while you get your information?
We need to get out of Bell's Forge. Right. Sorry.
Okay. So do you just
Um,
order him out of Bell's Forge,
yeah.
or?
I thought
Okay.
that was part of the skipping forward part.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Excuse me. My bad. Skipping forward even more. You go through the side and into the air out of Bell's Forge. The entire Hallow Council is now in the carriage.
We're kind of hovering, right?
Reunited.
Yes. Reunited.
Feels so good. All right. Welcome, everyone. Here's the deal. We've got this carriage that will take us wherever we need to go as quickly as we can, but we don't have it indefinitely. So
Yes, and
I need to know.
I would prefer if we're not in here when it disappears.
Yes.
You know what this is.
Yes, you're not wrong. I think an explanation is in order. But first, we need to find out. I need to find out where should we go next? Do we have the means
Tiamat's
to
lair.
Tiamat's
We need-
lair?
We
Says the
need to go
dragon.
to Tiamat's lair.
He's
Well,
right.
I mean,
we need to get to Tiamat. I have the way to unlock the solar incendiator in my
Oh.
bag. We don't need the sword anymore. We just need to go get Tiamat to break the chains.
I don't know, it seemed like a nice sword, though.
Aren't you concerned about what we might meet along the way?
I'm very concerned about meeting Tiamat, but Hamina herself has said go to Tiamat to break the chains. So when deity says to do something, I try to obey that.
It's a nice idea. It's real cute.
well, I
Anyone
mean, is
have
that
anything?
really our best option? I mean, we do have a ring of wishes, don't we? Do we absolutely have to go to the Queen of Evil Dragons for help?
Lachlan, can I have my clothes back?
We can wish for
Where's
It got a
everyone's
little
stuff?
heavy in here, so I thought I'd add something.
Okay.
Oh God, I just realized I'm probably still wearing the clothes from the wedding, aren't I?
Yes, you are. Thora, you say that, and Sister Fadavera catches sight of you in your skimmies, and she goes, "Oh." She turns away like that.
Apologies, sister. Can I please have my robe back?
Well, you don't know Lachlan has your stuff, though.
I yelled it.
He did yell it.
Oh, he did? Oh, my bad.
Yeah, he
Okay.
was like, "I've got our stuff."
He came running into the forge like, I've got our stuff!
Okay. Okay, Lachlan, do we skip ahead? Do you give everybody their stuff back?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm dumping that out because I want to show them the rods. These are what we need to take out the solar incendiators.
Okay, Odelia, he dumps out also the lance that your rage was fueled by.
Uh-oh.
Celia's eyes get huge and she says, "That's mine!" And she grabs it. And she holds on to it like she's holding on to everything she's ever been mad about.
Like,
Odelia,
wait.
It's your precious.
Odelia, you touch the Hellfire Rage Lance, and not only is it more powerful than your harpoon by a factor of +2, but you get pissed off just holding it. Odelia, I would like you to make an endurance check to see if you can avoid criticizing one of your companions.
All the time. Odelia's nice. What is the modifier?
Your endurance is under your skills if you have it. If not, it's half your level and your constitution mod.
39.
Okay, Odelia, you managed to fight. You recognize that this weapon is not only filled with your rage, but you're filled with your rage just touching it. But you recognize that you're not going to be dominated by it, and you force it to the back of your mind quite successfully.
I'm just happy to have gotten my rage back.
Mine!
I, for one, cannot wait to point her in the direction of a bad guy. At any rate, so you say Tiamat, Morocon says Tiamat.
What is our plan?
That is a great question. Voice?
Well, we need to break the chains, and the way we found out to break the chains would either be to use Sister Faudever's or your blood on the chains to lure a giant, I don't know, celestial eating demonic creature, or use Tiamat or offer one of us as a sacrifice in exchange to Zariel herself. Frankly, I think Tiamat's the best option because I gather she's kind of an equal opportunity hater, and I don't think she's necessarily a friend to Zariel. So,
Point of order: we don't know where Tiamat's lair is, and the
hello,
topography
Ring of Wishes.
Oh.
I mean, we could throw that baby on and say, hey,
So
I wish
you would-
for a profitable or a positive encounter with Tiamat.
So you would wish to send us into the dragon's lair, so to speak, but not then wish us a way out?
Well, if we're fast enough, we can just use this
When have-
magical carriage.
I'm sorry to cast doubt upon us, but when have we ever been fast enough?
Or lucky.
And Duriel, does this carriage driver know where Tiamat's lair is by chance?
Hold on a tick.
I hate
Driver.
to be that
Do
person.
you know where Tiamat's lair is? Does the driver
How
know?
about we ruin the soul's life one more time?
Ruin what
And
soul's life?
The rocks.
Oh, jeez.
And sacrifice this to Zariel. That seems like an easier plan.
Can I take a hold of that for a moment?
I hope you know that's how much Lavender likes you, that she will give it to you.
Okay. What am I sensing from?
Make an Arcana check, please.
$27.
Okay, it's more than enough. Aelin, you have heard of the spell Trap the Soul, right? It's an 8th level, 5th edition spell, depending on the edition that you're in. This looks like the exact kind of receptacle someone would use if they had trapped the soul. Now that Lavender has said that, you take one look at it and you're like, you've actually seen receptacles like this before. So there is a living celestial holy font's soul inside of this stone. And apparently somebody locked it up nice and convenient for you when you killed the holy font. Well, actually, it was Lavender, I think, that murdered it. Yeah.
Yes.
Murdered it dead.
Oh, I'm the murderer now.
Well, you
I'm
did-
the murderer.
Well, you did
not
Warhammer
the Dragonborn.
into oblivion. After, well, yeah, that's right. Morocon knocked it into your hammer and you played baseball with this poor celestial.
I was
Spike.
poor
You're the Spike.
child playing catch.
Set Spike, you're the Spike. I like it. Okay, so a lot of stuff has been put on the table.
What I'm saying is, we've already ruined the soul's life. Why not keep that theme going?
We can't sacrifice an innocent creature in order to advance our own goals. What would our gods think? Well, don't all of you answer that.
Do we even know where this holy font came from?
I killed it.
I know that much.
I helped.
I also know that much.
We know that we saw oh no. Lachlan doesn't know that. Never mind.
No, never mind.
Lachlan knows nothing.
Okay.
Sorry. That was DM Ryan sneaking in metagame stuff.
And what of Zariel? What if she's pursuing us?
Give
Pursuing
her this
us?
rock?
Why would she be pursuing us? What did you do, Aelin?
Why? I don't know why you have to blame me, but surely, since she is she not the current ruler of this layer of hell?
Why should she notice us? Just because we're
Because
riding...
because however many holy members of a holy council of a prime world just barging into hell and causing a certain amount of chaos.
Well, that is right. Okay,
kill
by
How
the
would
way,
that not be noticed?
all of you made religion checks before, and you know that now that Aelin has used Zariel's name, there is the possibility she's overheard.
I wasn't the only one who used her name.
Morocon face palms.
I wasn't the only one who used her name. Someone else
Alright.
used it beforehand.
I said it
Do you know
twice.
that? Do you know that moment in the movie Clue when he's like, "There are 2 dead bodies in the cellar," and everyone goes, "Shh!" Like, Aelin, everybody looks at you like that really quickly. Although you're right, Lachlan did use her name.
Nice.
Out of curiosity, does the driver actually know where Tiamat's lair is?
Okay, thank you for reminding me of that, Benjamin. So, the driver and Duriel, you don't need to ask him. You know that he can go anywhere where there's a soul on his route to pick up. But as far as knowledge of location, he doesn't know. Like, he can't give you topography. The Dullahan is he's undead, but in some ways he's kind of like a construct also.
But you could
Was
say
he like hell GPS?
Tiamat has a soul, right?
Very much so.
Take us to Tiamat's soul, and that that
Okay,
would be
bro,
fine.
what I'm telling you is she ain't on the route, dude. That's
But
he's
Bell
not
was.
he's not scheduled to he's not scheduled to reap her. Actually, no, it was Naylock that sent you in the carriage to Bell's Forge. He's the one who went like this.
So in the vision that Hamina gave me, I was shaking hands with a red dragonborn. Do I know who that is? Would that be enough to give a GPS location to?
If you want to search for a red dragonborn in hell, by all means, go right on ahead. But otherwise, you don't really know who that is. However, your as has been pointed out, you
Isn't
could
that
use the
what
ring.
The Tao told you it was
Yeah.
Archon the Cruel.
Oh, he did. Okay, my bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That was what the whole
So-
wedding thing was about.
Let's see if the driver knows where Archon is to take us to Archon.
Okay, you want to ask Anduriel?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
All right. Anduriel, you lean your head out the window. Bell's Forge is now quite a ways off in the distance, but you also become cognizant of the fact that the sands are slipping through the hourglass here on this carriage ride. Also, a gentleman in a fez goes by on a carpet, and it's very much. He goes, "It's date night, bro. Why you got to be up here?" And anyway,
Do you know where Tiamat is?
okay. The driver tells you that
Show us the world.
Archon the Cruel has cheated death many times. That's his answer.
We help you uncheat it. Fix
Well,
that.
I guess
Dragon,
take us to him.
the driver seems to be less useful than you, so perhaps the ring is our best bet to get any sort of direct route anywhere. But we need to hurry. We're running out of time.
You want to use the ring to get to Tiamat?
It would work.
But not just to get to her, we have to say, like, I wish for a favorable encounter with Tiamat. Or something of the sort.
I was kind of hoping
Wish
to
for the carriage
hold
to
on
take
to-
us to a favorable encounter with Tiamat.
So we want
what
transportation
are you?
and manipulation.
Well, you don't.
What's happening?
You don't have to wish for the carriage to get there. You could just wish to go to Tiamat and then hope she gives you a piggyback ride back to home.
I can tell you that this is a terrible idea.
I was kind of hoping to use the ring to get us back out of Tiamat's lair, but
Well, isn't that
Yeah.
why we have the carriage? Now, my question is, what do we offer her to make her want to break the chains? She's not the goddess of giving.
Marriage to a dragonborn?
All right, you say that, and Madrigal, who's been silent this whole time, looks at you, Lavender, and she goes like this at you. You're not quite sure what it is. It seems fey, but it's derogatory. You're reasonably sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's not ideal.
If the driver knows where Archon is, let's have the driver take us to Archon.
Whose soul are we going to sacrifice to Archon? Dragon, yours?
Well, possibly.
I mean,
Perhaps the golden stone here.
I've already
But-
died today, so I can't do it again.
I also still have this as I hold up the ring.
Someone mentioned before the sword of. We won't
Her.
mention her name again. Of her. Why did you want it?
We were going to use that to break the
Solar
or to
Insidiator.
break the solar insidiator, but we don't need to do that now because I got Bell's
Could
magic
you
sticks.
use it to break the chains?
Ooh. Entirely possible.
Why not
But-
simply wish for the sword? And then that gives us an additional bargaining chip over you know who.
But again, we'd have to be very careful because we could wish for the sword and have us like transported into the den of horrificness that it's being kept in.
No, you just wish for it to be laid into your lap in the current location. You just have to be specific with your wording.
Which
that's
is
not-
a good plan, assuming that the sword can break the chains, and we don't
But-
know that that's the case.
if it can break the chains, we cover it in Sister's blood, and then technically,
We
And then
also
hope
know
the demon
that
catches a
Tiamat
whiff.
can break the chains.
Or it gives us a bargaining chip to use with whomever we wish. The lady whose name we shall not utter again.
Why don't we do
Goddess
that and
Tiamat.
then why don't we do that? Don't we know that she could maybe be like, I mean, she DM.
I don't know what
romantic-
you did.
we
I don't
know
know
if
what you discovered.
we know if it will if the sword can be used to redeem her.
Do you know that?
Yeah,
I don't know that that was ever revealed to you.
I don't know. I
Um,
couldn't remember what in Axe Speak stuff we.
No, Madam Iovana Vatraska said that the sword could pierce the solar insidiator. That's really all you know. But it is an artifact, and if it can pierce the solar insidiator, which is a hell-forged artifact, there's every possibility that it might pierce the chains. But it's an extremely powerful artifact, and using any artifact has consequences. Now, also, Moro Khan says, we sacrifice mine, and Sister Fadaver says, I don't think that the sword would accept a soul that is less pure. Do you know what he and Lavender have been doing?
I think
Okay.
that we should wish for this sword.
Lavender,
I believe that is the safest option.
Madrigal leans towards you and bares her teeth.
that is not what it sounds like.
Okay, Sister
Mad.
Fadaver says, we're going in circles. We need to vote.
We're gonna vote. I'm the voice. Let's
And how often have you done us astray?
we're all alive.
You were trapped in a hellforge.
Yes, and
We
now
had
we're
to
not.
come rescue you. And Duriel, tell him he can't be in charge anymore.
I'd like to hear the ogre. What do you have to say?
We're gonna run
Useful
out of
as
time on the
always.
carriage.
Thank you, Gizik.
Yes, we do need to hurry quite. I don't know, the sword might be a good idea. It seems like something that we could acquire and hopefully it will work. Tiamat could do it, but I don't know what our chances are of gaining her cooperation, so.
What about you, Druid?
Let's stop sitting around talking. Let's go get the sword.
The sword is a good opportunity.
Orokon.
If you need someone to make the wish so that it is as documentable as possible, I believe I'm the one who'd be best at that.
All right.
Documentable.
I think he's offering to accept the consequences, which is very noble of you, Thora. But I think if anyone's going to accept the consequences, it should be Aelin.
On my head be it.
No,
She's the one trained in wish lore.
who is?
Well, I was more just.
You can't accept. No, sister was joking. Don't be.
I was more just. I'm assuming that Thora here meant documentable as in can phrase it correctly as per contracts.
I'm willing to accept the sacrifice as well if need be.
Let's
Then
not
give it to
go
him.
getting sacrificial yet. Let's get the sword first.
Well, voice, I believe the council, as it is, clearly wants the sword.
So wish for the sword. Let's get on with it.
All right.
All right, you are going to wish for the sword of Zariel, and
She who must not be
Wish for it to.
I actually have been thinking of this. So like, for instance, if we are still in the carriage, it would be like and this is just an example. I do not have the ring. Do not give me consequences.
Don't say wish.
Matthew.
Don't say wish.
Morocon took it off on Madrigal's advice. He's got it in a pouch.
So essentially, the wording would be something along the lines of, word for the sword of Zariel to appear before me in the carriage, not inside of anyone. Like,
Perhaps not
Without
appear,
Zariel
but
knowing.
perhaps materialize.
Okay.
You don't want appear, you don't want a vision, but materialize to become
tangible.
tangible,
Oh.
substantial.
That
about
would have been
having
a
someone-
bad twist.
Deliver it. Like I wish for the sword of Zariel to be delivered in a basket.
By 4,000 demons. No, that's a terrible idea.
Perhaps would you like me to sit on top of the carriage whilst this happens so that no one gets stabbed? Or
How does you sitting on top of a carriage stop anyone getting stabbed?
perhaps Thora, if the person making the wish and one other
outside of
person
the carriage.
outside of the carriage. I also don't want to deliver it onto Naylock.
All right, so Sister
Probably not a
Fodiver
good
turns to you, Anduriel, and says, look, if we're going to wish for the sword, then shouldn't we send the carriage back home, back to Horta?
Horta's not where the carriage lives, sister.
Well, don't you have it for another 25 minutes? Give or take?
Give or take, yes, and then it must go back to where it came from, which is not Horta.
Well, good. If we're going to break the chains, get us to the chains and the incendiator. John, you're muted.
I'm not close enough.
Oh, there we go.
She has a point. If we're able to get to Horta before your timer runs out, we wouldn't have to risk travel to get back to where we need to be to use the sword.
Why don't we make the wish within the halls of protection? What better place to have the wish for the sword to be than in the middle of a sanctified ground?
Well, do we want the sword on top of the chains we plan on using it, or in Horta? The chains are on Elturel, not Horta.
Oh, that's true.
To Elturel we should go, perhaps.
Yeah.
But how long a journey?
The
would that take?
carriage moves very, very quickly.
Oh, worry not. In this bad boy.
0 to 60 in
This
second
this
flat.
bad boy can hold so many bad life choices.
This bad boy holds so many mistakes.
So
Nine
wish
of
for
them,
the-
in fact.
We wish for
Yeah.
the sword on the way to where?
They go to Elturel.
Elturel. The benign appearance of the sword as we travel to Elturel. I'll take care of getting the driver to go to Elturel. You, whoever Bugs, you vote. You take care of the wish, right?
Bugs.
I will.
All right,
Bugs.
here we go.
Would you
What's
like
up,
my
Doc?
my assistance, Thora?
I would appreciate it. Yes.
Shouldn't we write it down before he says it? She's like,
It's
And
not a.
Uriel has
that.
given the instruction.
It's one sentence. Come on, sister. Where's your sense of adventure?
I left it in hell.
We're
But you
still
did
in
leave it.
hell.
All right. What's
Yeah,
the wish gonna
Can-
be?
Can we
I feel
climb
like
her
this
on
is a
top of the
horrible
carriage,
plan.
or
All right. First of all, are we taking the carriage to the chains first, or wishing for the sword and then heading to the chains?
Fiends first.
Okay.
I
And
think we
Uriel,
should
do you?
get there first?
Okay.
Make it so.
All right. So the driver heads towards the chains, and Aelin, you're awfully glad you got in when you did, because as you watch the Avernus landscape around you, you realize that the carriage doesn't seem to be bound by the same laws of space and time. Like you're crossing distances much too quickly. You would have been flapping behind this thing, but like, wait, the DeLorean got away. Like, it would have been bad. So, you begin crossing. You're on the way to the city of Elturel, and you get there within a matter of minutes. You estimate, Enduriel, that you probably have about 20 minutes of time left with the carriage. And the driver heads towards the chains, which if you look at the visual of Elturel, the chains are trapped to the bottom of Elturel. So we're just under the city itself. It's a huge crater. It's very disconcerting as you look out the carriage it's very, very disconcerting to be trapped or in this carriage, flying or not flying, under this monolithic landmass. It's like being under a mountain that could fall, but you can see the whole mountain. And now, who's going to make a wish?
I'm writing it out.
You don't trust me, John? You think I'm going to take...
No, I
you
don't.
You think I'm going to DM you? Tommy, you're smiling. I feel like maybe
She
you
knows.
don't trust me either.
We've played for a while now. I feel like I know how it's going to go.
Okay.
Well, we're wrapping up the story. That doesn't necessarily mean we're wrapping it up with a victory.
No.
Okay.
No.
I have it.
We're
I
all
have
going
it.
to die.
I have it
Booth.
written out and ready to go.
Don't jinx
All right.
it, Jeff.
All right, so tell everybody, what is it that you are going to say?
I not saying the word because Matt might cast it. For the sword of Zariel to be manifest before me, not piercing any of my companions, and within arm's reach.
Okay.
I
Anybody
lawyered this.
Anybody have any addendums?
Thora, that is a great way to word that. I would slip B9 in there somewhere. Innocuous, something. I just don't want it slamming lightning into something. I don't know. The
I've got a
benign
wisdom
appearance.
of 10. It sounds great to me.
Yeah, but I don't.
Here.
Without any damage to anyone.
No,
Okay.
Or anything.
myself or my companions.
Myself or my companions.
I wouldn't say anything because then there might be
It won't
ramifications.
work
Okay.
against the chains.
Point of
Aelin,
note, does the
It's like-
sword have
It's
an...
like a plastic foam sword.
There it is.
Alternatively,
Does the
you
sword
could-
have a name?
Bill.
does it
Like,
have a
does it-
name?
Does it
Sword of
have
Zarya.
a name, or is it just the Sword of Zarya?
Not
Sorry.
that you know.
As far as we know, it's just the Sword of Zariel.
Herald.
Okay.
And sorry, what was that? What were you saying to Aelin?
Aelin and Lavender, you who have studied magic as part of your religion, both of you please make an insight check.
What's that plus? Insight is
15 on the dice plus 11, 26.
Insight or Arcana?
Arcana, excuse me.
Oh,
okay.
No. I meant insight, not Arcana.
Okay.
So insight, yeah, so definitely plus 11.
So-
15 plus 11.
3 plus.
If you're not trained, it's half your level and your wisdom
Okay.
modifier.
24.
All right, so Aelin, you think it sounds pretty good, but there's something that's making you uncomfortable. And Lavender, it pops into your head when Thora says this, that magical artifacts can manifest themselves across distances.
Mm.
Oh, we don't want it to manifest.
I don't get that.
What you get is that if you wish for the sword to manifest, the sword might manifest before you without actually being in front of you.
Kind of like Tupac manifested at that concert after he'd been dead for all these years.
I think the
So it needs to be materialized instead.
Or transported.
transported. Yes. Or
I like transported. That's a great word.
I don't. It'll be transported by Zariel herself.
True.
It's transported by Malcanthet.
why not?
Look what
Why
I
not
Materialize.
have.
Perhaps materialize. So it
Why not
actually has to
be?
appear.
Why not simply? I wish for it to be, because perhaps we're going to.
Teleport.
B seems
actually-
good too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because then it simply is. There's no caveats to it. It simply is and exists.
All right.
Go for it.
Do it.
After all we've seen and done, go for it.
What's the worst that could happen?
All right, Morocon, do you pass? Do you
Did
pass
you
the ring over to Thor?
specify that it arrives alone, or are we just YOLOing it?
And now. We also want to hear
all
now.
learned that YOLO
And-
doesn't apply here.
Alone.
Here's
And
the thing.
without escort.
These are all good things. We're going to continue to come up with very good things, and then we're going to lose our ride home.
Just do
I'm
it.
just saying.
The time is now.
It's a good thing, actually.
Morocon, may I?
So I need to roll some sort of a check. Because Morocon is deeply, shall we say, conflicted between following the voice of the council and following Hamina, her specific instructions. So, DM, what kind of a roll do I need to make for something like that?
Well, I'll make it for you. I roll an 11 for you to play your character, which means you do.
This sounds more like a decision than a check.
I successfully roll for you to play your character.
Wow, someone else is gonna have religious conflict? Tell me more.
So, so Morokon's holding the ring in his hand out like this, and he doesn't move.
Does he wish for Tiamat to become here?
You're not.
So I will leave it to Thora or whoever else to take the ring from him.
So he holds the ring and
He
just
holds-
sits there.
He proffers it, yeah. In that case, August will make one final look to the rest of the party to get like a yay or nay.
And
he
Ariel's just
true
going to
neutral.
say, oh, for Shadow's sake.
Just
He's going
do
to grab
it.
the ring and give it to Thora.
Okay, Thora will
Morokon
slip-
will remember this.
If he
Thora
lives
will
long
slip
enough.
the ring onto his finger,
Okay.
and he
Right.
will say,
Thor, you do that and Madrigal goes like this.
"I'm never marrying." I wish.
You die. No, I'm just kidding.
You
Please, no,
die.
please go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Well, Thor is dead.
Not so
I
bad.
wish for the sword of Zariel to be before me, not piercing any of my companions and within arm's reach, without any damage to myself or my companions, and without escort.
Okay. Thora, you feel a tremendous surge of power go through your entire body. And the sword of Zariel teleports to before you were born, as the preposition before can mean either in front of
Just said B, not before.
or it can mean, no, I'm just kidding. That's not no. Okay. No.
This is. We're not speaking English because English is a stupid language.
That
He
is
says
exactly true.
Spanish.
Okay.
I say it
So
in Latin. I don't know.
there is, all right.
I was ready to rend someone limb
Yes.
from limb.
That is actually, Ryan is actually right, because the word before in Spanish is ante, and the word before in time is antes. So Thora can use whatever language he wants to imply that meaning.
Elvin.
Alrighty. So Thora, there is a huge surge of power that goes through you, unlike anything you have ever experienced in your life. And it doesn't feel like nature. It feels as though someone is bending nature to suit their whims. And it makes you feel just a little guilty for a minute as you break the laws of time and space. However, a glowing object appears across your lap that appears to be glowing brightly with holy light, so much so that it makes it difficult for you to see it. And you look down as the light subsides, Thora, and see a blue crystalline longsword laying across your lap. It is heavy, and it is humming with power. And all of you feel a voice enter your heads that is reminiscent of the voice of a comforting parent that might have come to you in a time of need and made everything better. And it fills your
I
heart.
don't know what that feels like.
And your mind.
You
I'm
hear
assuming.
nothing.
I mean, I'm assuming. Someone's gonna have to describe this for a few of us, but it's
Aelin doesn't know.
it's very soothing. Aelin, it was like what it felt like before you realized your mom was abandoning you in the woods. You're like, oh, she wants to play with me. So it fills your minds and your hearts, and it communicates with you without words, and it wants to know what it's doing here. And Thora specifically, it wants to know, who are you? You're muted, or you're not close enough, bud.
I am
There we go.
Thora Mikitas, druid of Finhefara. We need your help to save Elturel and Horta.
Okay. The sword imbues you with the knowledge that it is the sword of Zariel, the Archduchess of Avernus and former angel of Mount Celestia. And along with that come feelings and waves of profound sadness as it communicates that fact.
Should simply Thora or all of us?
All of you feel it. It only asks Thora, because he's physically touching it, who he was. But all of you feel the waves of sadness as it communicates to all of you that it is or was the sword belonging to Zariel. And it wants to know if one of you intend to take it up, or if one of you intend to return the sword to Zariel.
What is your purpose?
Okay, Aelin, do you just say that out loud, or do you communicate that telepathically?
Communicate it.
Okay. So, Aelin, you just kind of wonder mentally, what is your purpose? And all of you have your minds filled with images of Zariel in a much more celestial form, waging war against evil and defending humans and churches and other places. And you get the idea that the sword's purpose is to defend the innocent and to protect creatures of good heart.
Does it want us to rescue Zariel? Because that seems like a lot to ask.
Do you ask that? Do you emote
Yes.
that? Okay, you emote that,
Telepathically.
and a surge of hope fills everyone's heart. It desperately hopes that one of you will find a way to redeem Zariel. But its greatest hope is to again be used in the service of good. And Sister Fadaver starts reaching her hand.
Can I slap her hand?
You absolutely can. Okay. Sister Fadaver starts reaching towards the sword, and Aelin slaps her hand. I just wanted to touch it.
And Duriel, I think, would speak out loud just what our purpose is to, we need to use your power to destroy these chains. Can you help us?
If the sword wants to know in what way destroying the chains will protect goodly creatures.
It will protect innocent lives from an eternity spent upon Avernus.
Sword wants to know what innocent lives.
A city filled with innocent lives is being dragged into the river Styx by these chains.
None of
They
us
did
are
not
innocent,
ask.
though.
They did not ask for it. Some may deserve it, and some may not. But for the greater good of the city, we need to break these chains and save these cities.
Okay,
Lavender
Go ahead.
starts thinking of Sabella, who is working so hard to save these places. And she thinks about like the hope that that little girl represents and the good that she could bring as she grows up.
The sword considers Sabella, and it seems to reject her based on the fact that she's a klepto. The sword also kind of reviews all of you. It kind of
Simply
probes
do not consider
each one of you.
any of us.
And it determines that only 3 of you are worthy to take up the sword. But it warns you, if you take up the sword, it will change you forever. And you will lose your life in the service of Mount Celestia.
Tell us which 3.
No, that's a terrible idea.
How do we know which 3?
The sword will honestly communicate to you. It would accept Odelia as a wielder. It would accept Lachlan as a wielder.
What now?
And it would accept Lavender as a wielder. The sword feels like Sister Fadaver is just too twisted, even if she is lawful good.
Too zealous.
But those are the 3 wielders that it will accept: Lachlan, Odelia, or Lavender.
It's because I'm not trained in swords or weaponry, so
well, it may be because of that, but there might be another reason it won't accept you.
You're racist. It's racist.
It's a
like
racist. It's a racist sword.
Doesn't like
it is
dragons.
not.
You're
It's
married.
not like
Yeah.
all those
Yeah.
scalies.
Aelin brings up a very good point.
What?
You've given your life in service to another already.
That's right, he's mine. She grabs you and pulls you closer. Always and forever, love.
Are we always going to be traveling with your wife from now on? Because it's kind of annoying.
And she boops your nose, Morocon.
Morocon rolls his eyes.
I would not lose any of you to the, be it good or not, I would not lose any of you to the service of
Mount
angels.
Celestia.
I want to ask the sword, and I'm just gonna. I mean, I'm telepath anyway, so this is like.
Do you want to
normal.
ask privately? Or
No,
do you want...
I just want to ask. Well, yeah, I think I want to ask this question privately. If it will let me. Does someone need to take it up to be able to use it on the chains?
You can't wield the sword's full power unless you attune yourself to it. And that would require the sword bonding to you. Otherwise, the sword can't be used to break the chains. You won't be able to wield its full power.
And I'm still holding the Holyphant soul.
Yes, you are.
We have the soul of a Holyphant here trapped within, its soul is trapped within this crystalline structure. Is there anything that this serves?
The sword communicates to you that the soul, the object, should be returned to Mount Celestia, that the creature inside of it is of Mount Celestia, and that it should be returned there. Whoever takes up the sword should take the soul.
Was this Zariel's?
The sword or the stone?
The Holyphant.
Okay, the sword reveals to you that the soul within is named Lulu. Terrible name, but it has...
come on, you go away. As if.
It's a beautiful name, but the creature's soul used to serve as Zariel's mount. She also had an animal companion, Ashbeak, but no one has any idea what happened to it.
So I killed the soul.
You didn't kill it, only its body.
Only its body.
Its soul is within here.
The sword
huffing
forgives
its
you.
soul.
Lavender, the sword communicates to you that it forgives you for slaying its body, and that it wishes that you would forgive yourself.
Aww.
Funny, Vahara doesn't have many teachings on forgiveness without action.
Well, she really focuses more on forgiving you for messing up a spell, less so on issues of morality.
Perhaps you'd be happier in the service of Mount Celestia than Vahara.
With the Holyphant with you.
In the service of another god.
And
That's
can Lavender, you can sense people's thoughts, can't you?
Yeah.
She can communicate telepathically one way and receive a message back.
Aelin,
go ahead.
Aelin looks at you.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of
open up the message.
Ding.
Hey, pal.
Don't go, please.
Oh.
And if you won't stop yourself, I will.
I want to pray to Sindel and just say I need a sign if I should take this up.
Then I can't.
Or if it would please
right now.
You for me to take it up.
Aelin's going to press a finger to your lips and just to quiet you, and open her mouth and shout out at the top of her lungs, Zariel!
Oh.
Things are going to happen quickly now.
Yes, they are.
Why would you do that?
Okay. Lachlan, in response to your prayer, you get a very uncomfortable feeling. you don't feel like the thought pops into your head. What does taking up this sword have to do with love? How can you further the cause of love on the world of Ienia if you take up the sword? That's the thought that pops into your head in response to your prayer. Now, Aelin shouts out for Zariel, and everybody just kind of looks at her. Anybody say anything? Anybody's jaw drop?
Thora will stand and hold the sword in his hands. Not presenting it, just holding it up.
One of us has to take it now before Zariel arrives.
You are running out of time, and Thora is holding the sword.
That's not the signal he's giving, though.
Okay.
I'm going to make a quick insight check on Aelin to see if he gets the same idea that Aelin has.
Okay, go for it.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, B1?
I think I am. With my plus 16 to insight, that's like a 24. So yeah, he is holding it up, but not proffering it to anyone. He is holding it up as if to present it to someone who's coming.
Okay. There is an explosion of fire outside of the carriage. Very much like the Phoenix Ashbeak when he bursts into flame. And outside of the carriage,
Things are happening.
You catch sight of that. And it stands there, the Archduchess Zariel in all her fiery splendor, with her wings aflame and her eyes burning with red hot light. And standing there with a huge mallet that is larger than she should be able to wield, even as a large creature. And it is covered in frost and giving off waves of cold.
Lavender's a little bit jealous.
And she telepathically communicates with all of you, just like the sword did, but with language as opposed to meaning. And her voice comes into your head and says, "With such divine interference as you've instigated, I cannot fathom how Lord Asmodeus himself has not intervened to send your upstart deities a message. But let me assure you, your interference is over. This time, I will do worse than my Lord Consort. This time, I will not use or imprison you. I will simply annihilate you all and wipe your memory from existence."
Can I step out of the carriage?
Of course you can. You can fly.
Yes.
I'm right behind her.
And
you can't fly. You fall like a rock.
I'm also going to beckon Thora to come with me.
We're just floating in the air, right?
You are floating in the air
okay.
next to the chains.
Great decision number 2.
I'm just going to go out then. I didn't realize that we weren't on the ground. Okay.
Is there any way for me to get on top of the carriage?
Sure, make an athletics check. Are you going to take the sword with you?
I can help you up if you want.
I would love for you to help me.
All right, just make.
I think you're like, one moment, let us just get set up.
Give me a 13 athletics check.
Yeah.
Would you like? Okay.
That's a dirty 20.
Okay, Thora, you scramble up with the sword, and Zariel backs up a little bit, and she lifts the mallet, and her wings blaze more with fire. And she, having seen it now for the first time, says, "Where did you come by that cursed object?"
We have, Lady Zariel, we have not one but 2 things that belong to you, or perhaps who you once were.
I cast that sword away a long time ago.
And what has that wrought?
I stand where I am meant to stand. I am the bulwark between total annihilation and the existence of the multiverse. Can you even comprehend the Oberith threat? Do you know what demonkind has done to other universes? What it will do to this very universe if no one stops it? Your feeble gods have no interest in waging this war. And if I do not do it, no one will. That sword is nothing but a symbol of the ineffectual powers that you serve.
Yet, you yourself said that our interference caused chaos amongst Avernus. If the gods are so puny, how were we able to disrupt the very mechanisms of this hell itself?
Okay. Aelin, make a diplomacy check, please.
Okay. Big money.
Blow on that die.
Okay. So with a 19 plus 6 is it 25?
25. I would like everybody in the carriage to make an insight check, please.
Natural 20 plus 11.
Not my strong
From
suit.
existence.
I got a 27.
20.
Okay. Okay.
19.
12.
All right. All those of you who got a 25 and higher, which would be whom? Who got a 25 or higher?
I did.
Lavender, Aelin,
31.
Lachlan. Okay. You all realize that Aelin's comment has caught her attention. And so she seems as though she is listening. Now, would everyone please roll initiative?
Oh,
22.
19.
And where has my pencil gone? Boogers. It's on the floor. That's a great moment. Rye, will you keep initiative for me, please?
Sure.
Okay. Sound off your initiative, please, and Rye will throw it out at you.
12.
19.
28.
22.
10.
22
Sorry.
as well.
Alrighty.
I need to banish this dice.
Was that,
And
was
lock-
that,
and
a,
lock-
was that a 3 or a 0? For
All right. Here's what happens. We are now in a diplomatic surprise round. Those of you who made the insight check and realize that she is open to saying something, you may act in the surprise round. And then we go to the top of initiative for who may say something to sway her. So who's at the top of the initiative?
Enduriel.
Okay, but who won in the surprise round? There are only 3 of you. That's
Enduriel, you made
Lavender.
the insight, right? Oh, no. So it would be Lachlan.
All right,
Lachlan got a
Lachlan, you're at the
25.
top. And then Lavender, and then Aelin.
no, then Aelin and Lavender.
Then Aelin. All right. Lachlan, you realize that Zariel is now shaken by Aelin's comment that if our gods are so puny, then how come we've shaken things up here? She's listening.
Okay.
You might want to have something worth saying. Oh, pick up your die too. You better pick up your dice.
That's
Letting
right.
you know right now.
Okay, I want to
that,
say the soul of Lulu is here with us as well, and she would not you, Lulu.
Wrong Lulu.
Yeah, and she would she would communicate, or she would speak with you again if you would listen. I want to say that, and then can I somehow use my unrequited love, not as an attack, but to like push some love into her?
Do you mean you want to try to use your channel divinity power to manipulate the Archduchess of Avernus?
Well, I just want to
go for
No.
it. Do it in your cooler. Do it in your cooler.
I want to like try to bring out some love that might still be, if there's anything to bring out.
Okay. Please make a religion check, and you better get really, really high.
Okay. Well, that's
And
religion's not my best school. That's a 28. Pretty good.
You can aid, Aelin. Do you want to aid?
Okay. By showing off the
by showing off.
Woo! No, by holding out the stone which does contain the soul of the Holy Font.
Okay. Yes, you can. Right. Aid another gives you a +2, right?
Right. So that would be 30.
It's a good thing she did that. Because your DC for pulling that off, I set as a 30. Lot of that going around tonight. Okay, here's what happens. You start, and all of you feel this. Lachlan begins to radiate with love as he prays to Sindel to reach whatever love might be left in her heart. Lachlan, she whimpers slightly, and then her eyes fill with rage as she realizes that you are trying to manipulate her emotions, and it's working. And then she clenches the frost hammer, and Aelin holds up the stone, and she looks at the stone, and a sob escapes her. And now it would be Aelin. Oh, wait, Aelin, you took your turn to aid another. It would be Lavender.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that would be my whole turn. Okay.
Well, it was a good thing that you did, because if you didn't, we'd be rolling initiative again for another thing and picking this up next year. So, all right, Lavender.
Crikey.
Her
no
heart
pressure.
is open, and she has just given up a sob at the sight of the soul of her former mount, the Holy Font Lulu. The irony in this moment is so thick.
Lavender has watched this exchange, and in a way she identifies with some of the conflict that Zariel might be experiencing. And she steps out so that she can be seen in the doorway of the carriage. And she looks at her and she says, just because they have a weakness and you can see it doesn't mean they can't save you. And it doesn't mean that they're any less great than you can feel that they are.
Make a diplomacy check, if you would, please.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No,
All right.
no pressure. No pressure here either.
All right. That's a 12 plus 7.
It's a 19.
Yeah.
It's not that high, unfortunately. Okay. Lavender.
Still holding out the thing.
Yeah, still Aelin's like, look, snip it. It works great.
Oh shit.
Okay.
That was a bad choice. I made a
All
bad
right.
choice.
Lavender, she looks at you and she says, her life is over. I can't do anything about that. All I can do is wage a war that will save the lives of countless born and unborn, as well as all the souls that exist in your God's realms. And she says, now enough of this.
How is this helping?
Well, why don't you ask Enduriel, because it's his turn next. That is one failure. I would not fail 2 more times, or somebody's going to get a hammer to the puss. So, Now we are
It's
in regular.
Gonna be me because I'm
We are
flying in front of
we are
her.
in regular diplomatic initiative now. Anduriel, I believe you won initiative at the very top. Anduriel, you recognize that Lavender's words have frustrated her, but she's still experiencing emotional turmoil that you could exploit somehow.
Okay, it has to be kind of a strange intimidate check. I'm not trained in diplomacy, and so
No?
it's not going to be a traditional intimidate like, hey, do what we want or else I'm going to bust your face.
Intimidation is all about fear. So how can you use fear
Right.
to get her to see things your way?
So Aduriel's going to kind of try to... I understand. I have been in a dark place. You know me. I know you know who I am. You know my master, Naylock, the god of death, the god of shadow. I was a vampire for over 100 years, hunting the undead. The darkest places, that's where I dwelt. I know. But I also know redemption. These people around me, they are my friends. That, and he points to the stone, is your friend. You have the opportunity to do something really, really good. It can't make up for all the bad, but you won't have to live with the darkness inside yourself anymore. That's the darkness that you will get lost in forever.
Make your intimidate check, please.
So 19 plus 12. So it's 20...
31?
31. Yep.
Okay. All right. Anduriel, she looks very unsettled by that fact. And then she says, you all think it's so easy, don't you? Just turn your back on the darkness. And she looks at the sword and she says, it's already too late for me. That sword is nothing but a broken emblem of who I used to be. There's no going back from hell. The whole idea of hell is that it's permanent. Once the soul is here, it's trapped here. This is the end. Death here is permanent. I can't take up that sword again. There's no way back. But here's the deal. She says it, but you can tell she's saying it. You ever heard somebody say something when they're trying to convince themselves?
Yeah.
You can tell she seems like she's scared to believe that there is a way back. Like the idea of coming back from what she's come back would be more painful than the fall itself. And now who's next in initiative?
It would be Lachlan again.
That's 4 successes. No, 3 successes, right? Lachlan and Anduriel and Aelin. That's 3 successes.
Okay. He says, you're fighting to stem the tide of the demonic hordes, and it never ends, to the point where you've had to attack other worlds to bring people here to do this. You were a servant of the gods. You saw their power. When they fight a war, it ends. But this eternity, this never ends. This is a pointless cycle that won't ever go away. You think of the there's no progress here. And yet, if you were to take up this sword again, you would have progress once more. You're right. In your current state, you are damned just like every other soul here. But take up that sword, and that all goes away.
Make a diplomacy check, please.
Hey. And if you don't like it, I'm going to hit you with eyes of agony.
Do it.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Pick a fight with her, please.
That's a 15. I have a plus 15, so another 30. I'm really good at diplomacy.
Very good. All right. She looks at you and she says, the gods fight wars to win. Is the Dawn War won? Are the primordials trapped, or are they furiously struggling to be free of their bonds? The gods have not won wars. They stalemate after stalemate after stalemate. Do you not know who the Oberith are, the progenitors of all demon kind? They destroyed their own universe. That's why they came here. Demonkind wasn't even part of our multiverse. The gods don't win wars. If I take up that sword, I'm just going back to a losing battle. I'm accepting a stalemate again. I can't do that. We have a chance to win. If I begin this cause, others may follow and take the sword up and follow me as well. And who's next in initiative?
Oh, do I not get to respond to her at all?
No, you don't. Who's next in initiative?
Gizik.
Oh, hell.
Yep.
Well, I'm not sure how wise this will be, but I'm going to use suggestion and try to... No? So I will be rolling Arcana.
Okay,
On this.
you're going to roll an Arcana check. All right.
All right. So you want to protect the multiverse, but you do it by, I don't know, capturing the people and you're attacking the multiverse. You're not helping it. And I will roll. Hey, I never said I was good at diplomacy. So that's a 29.
Gizik with our first accusation attempt.
I'm gonna use Adept's Insight and give him a +4 to that.
And it's a good thing you did, my friend, because Gizik's spell does not work like 5th edition suggestion. In 4th edition, all it does is make your words more convincing. So his magic is being used on the way he speaks, not on her, which is good because she's not susceptible to charm magic at all. She stands immune. And it's a good thing you did Adept's Insight, because when Gizik says that, she looks like she's been slapped in the face. Like she starts back and beats her wings once, and she says, I did what I had to do. Everybody owes a debt. Everybody has to take part in this fight, whether they want to or not. I only found troops where I had to. A good general always adds to their army. However, you can all tell she's not necessarily buying her own message. Someone at this point might be able to take her out. She is teetering. Who is next?
Aura.
No pressure.
Okay, Sid, you're a diplomat. Let's do this.
No pressure.
Either way's fine.
I mean, no matter what happens.
He will take a knee and present the sword as a squire would to a knight. And he will say, "My lady, you have fought and fought on the front lines. And you will continue to fight if you take up this sword. Against devils and demons. And you will no longer have to forcibly conscript people to assist in your fight. You will have clergy behind you. You will have angels standing with you."
All right, she interrupts you, Thora, before you can finish, and she says, "They didn't stand with me before. I was the only one who wanted to launch this war. If they didn't stand with me before, what makes you think they'd back me now after what I've done?" And Thora, because she interrupted you, you may rebut.
Because you proved, by taking up this sword a second time, that evil cannot overcome good.
Oh!
He will present the sword again a little higher, and he will say, "And you can consider me your first conscription."
Thora, you may roll with greater advantage on your diplomacy check. No pressure.
Come on, baby! Okay?
Assuming that first one wasn't good.
The first one wasn't, but the second was. That is a 32.
That's a good thing that it is. Okay. She looks up at you, Thora, and she says, I'm so very tired. I'm so tired of this. I've watched for centuries and I was stopped. Now I wage the war I've always dreamed of, and I am stopped. I gave up everything to take a place in this conflict. I hoped to defeat demonkind, but I'm the only one who's lost something. And I'm taking myself back. And she lays a hold of the sword. And there is an explosion of holy light that surrounds her. The leathery wings fall off and reveal white feathers beneath her form that glow with a golden luster all their own. And her dark, chitinous armor falls away piece by piece as though she were shedding her skin, and reveals a white robe and blue crystal armor beneath it. And her eyes blaze with light as a shock of blue hair grows out of her bald scalp and past her head, making Ryan terribly jealous. And you watch before you as Zariel reclaims her holy nature. And deep within the bowels of Avernus, there is a groan that rolls across the landscape as thunder cracks. And Zariel flies to the chain and she cuts it in an enormous blast. And the chain snaps and it falls down and crushes demons that are massing along the river Styx. And then she speeds towards the other chain in a blast of light, and she snaps the other chain that's binding it down there. And that is when the carriage takes off and drops all of you in the sky.
Except me.
Except Aelin, who's like, ha, 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 ha. You all begin falling through the sky and going like, well, it was worth it.
I had a good run. This was fun. Bye, guys.
Sister Faudever yells out, if we swing, we might hit someone before we hit the ground. And you, Aelin?
I'm just going full pelt towards Lavender.
Okay. Aelin bolts towards Lavender. Aelin, you can take the run action. She's falling, and she can only fall her speed, so you can move faster.
Yes.
So Lavender, Aelin manages to reach you and take hold of your arms. And you're all falling, and suddenly you find yourself falling through clouds. And you land in the midst of Horta, right in front of the halls of protection where you began. And it is though you had just jumped out of a tree or something and landed down. And you look up to the top of the solar incendiator, and you see Zariel fly up to it, and she unlocks it. And that pieces of the solar incendiator fall, all of them on Morocon, just bam, 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 one after the other. Smash it. No, they don't fall on Morocon. They
2020,
fall into
am I right?
What's that?
2020, am I right?
2020, yeah, backed up, double sixes. And
yeah, this might as well happen.
Now, it all happens almost like a dream. The clouds part. And as the clouds begin to part, a blue sky shines down, and Avernus begins to peel away, almost like someone was tearing wallpaper off of reality. And before you know it, you're looking up back into the skies of Aenia again. And Thora, a beautiful, peaceful breeze blows past you, stirring your robes. And you get the feeling and the sense that nature has reasserted itself. There is no crash. There is no boom. There is nothing of the kind. As you find yourselves back home and Avernus left behind you, and you begin to wonder if this is even real. And you're all just standing there. Go ahead.
Do I still have the holy font?
You still have the holy font.
You also still have lavender clinging onto you, like
And
from which was falling.
Aelin's clinging back.
Okay, now people come out of their homes and out of the chapel, and they see the sky again, and there's cheering and shouting and weeping, and the clerics of Bestera come out of the halls of protection, and they crowd around you, and they look at all of you standing there, worse for the wear, injured, damaged, and the Hope Master comes forward and he says, "You did it. Praise Bestera. Praise all the gods. Praise the divine fellowship and its birth in our city. You brought us home."
And praise Zariel too, for she has had a change of heart.
And just then, there's the sound of cymbals coming from behind you, and the crowd parts. And you see the form of the piper walking towards you, carrying a black wooden box and trailed by a procession of sirens to his left and to his right. And Lachlan, he walks forward and he makes his way to you, and he holds out the box to you, and he says, "As promised, an instrument crafted by mine own hand." And he opens up the box, and you see a wooden flute carved of black ash, and it pulsates with death. And he says, "Forget ye not your promise to restore my daughter to life as well." Oh, and he looks at all of you, and he says, "And one more matter. The first vampire, Namithet, has been freed by your divine fellowship's choices. This is a matter to which you might turn your attention next." And that is where we will end Holy Rollerz, ladies and gentlemen.
Buddy.
Sword was a good choice.
Thora,
Good job, guys.
good job, man.
You did it.
That was a close
Nailed
one.
it, buddy.
Thank you for going an hour past your time, everybody. We really appreciate the 3-hour episode, but what an ending. I had no clue what you guys were going to do tonight. I had no idea, and I certainly didn't think you were going to call out to Zariel, you crazy tiefly-loving Aussie.
I have
Like-
to say, Moth, I was thinking the exact same thing.
So I just didn't. I had 3 different scenarios planned out for how I was going to ring. All of it was just poof.
Yeah. Yeah, I am stunned. Other thoughts before we turn the time over to Tommy to finish us off here?
It was very satisfying to see the looks on everyone's faces when I did that, but I think that
It made me
Yeah,
think of
good timing.
Beetlejuice. I was like, yeah, Beetlejuice. You just did a Beetlejuice moment.
It was a high risk, high reward scenario, and like we knocked it out of the park. So
Yeah,
You really did.
went great.
You
I'm
really
honestly
did.
surprised that we knocked it out of the park.
I am too.
Really,
Awesome.
I'm seriously surprised. I was completely expecting the entire fellowship to just
Poof.
TPK.
Who?
I think Thora picked up on like my wavelengths perfectly, because like if you hadn't have said that, I was going to go for the whole evil good redemption.
Yeah. I think
And
you and I
nailed
were
it.
on the same page for like the last hour.
Yeah.
We were just like, all right, this is what's happening. Here we go.
Well, I think
I
was
know, I
really-
love the fact that our entire party is ready to sacrifice themselves,
Yep.
but no one else. So there's this constant like, no, you can't be sacrificed, but I can be sacrificed.
Oh yeah.
I'm just sad Sister Faudever didn't get to take up the sword. Poor Sister Faudever. That's not.
That was
She
the
would've been
first great
horrendous
decision,
with
was
that
slapping
sword.
her hand. That was decision number one. That was great.
that was awesome because she was going for it. Man, I can use this anyway. All right. Well, we are an hour past our time. Thank you, everybody. I would love to continue talking, but we can always talk later or next, in a few weeks or whatever. We always like to finish up on a considered thought, and Tommy will be our last consider this that we ever do for Holy Rollerz, for at least for mainstream seasons, before we all reunite for a reunion. So, Tommy, please take it away.
All right, I just have a brief thought, and this thought came to me as Thora was giving his wonderful speech to Zariel, and it's one of my favorite scriptures from the New Testament, from Romans chapter 12, verse 21, and it's a challenge to each one of us, and it says, "Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good." And I think that it's true. It was true for Zariel, and it's true for us in the crazy pants time that we are living in. Instead of weeping and wailing and gnashing our teeth, we have so much power to do good. And that is more powerful than all the evil that we sometimes get caught up in.
I love that. I can't think of a better way to end it than to overcome evil with good.
Amen.
Amen. Any other thoughts?
Zoom high five.
I think that can be overcoming the evil in the world or in others or in ourselves. And I think that every day you just choose good.
And
I agree.
I want to give props to, since we're on the final episode, I want to give props to Matt and Ryan. First off, for choosing the perfect module for a bunch of clerics to go through and essentially claim good is better than evil and good will always prevail. And second off, for the amount of work they've been putting in. So like, F's in the chat, pay respect. Like, these guys worked their butts off for this. So thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Very much
No
appreciated. I'll echo that thank you to Ryan, who Ryan and I have known each other for years, and there was no way that I was going to, number one, do this without him, and there's no way I was going to let him get away. So I appreciate the fact that he came on this ride, and same goes for the rest of you. I appreciate that you all came on this ride. Some of you, JT, this is a very new experience for you, being amongst, not acting, which you have plenty of experience with, but being part of the role-playing acting, and you jumped right on and took the bull by the horns and proved not only good at it, but also willing to plan with me and to ride along. And thank you so much. And those of you who jumped on, this is I think particularly of Moth and Lulu and John and Jeff. I think this is we have a mix here of conservatives and progressive people with all different beliefs here. And we've still been able to get along and tell a story and love playing with each other and surprise each other. And to me, that has been one of the most rewarding things that we've done, is come together with different beliefs and not always agree on everything, but always agree on appreciating each other's contribution and having a good time. So
yeah,
I thank all of you from different backgrounds for coming together and participating in this. Benjamin, thank you for your art. Tommy, thank you for being willing to carry the torch for us with a 3-man group and just be immersed in all that, man, and not being daunted by that and bringing Odelia. I lament that we did not have more episodes to showcase everybody, but like I said, the future is unwritten and it's open, so we will get together again.
I'm sure we'll be back.
And thanks to Poinketh for
Yes.
being our number one viewer.
Dab for points.
Yeah, thanks, boy.
We love
Dab
you,
for
Poinketh.
Poinketh. Maybe not dabbing for anybody else, but dabbing for Poinketh.
Jeff's dabbing in his heart
And,
right now.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll say thank you.
Yes. And that's fine, Jeffrey. That's fine. Okay.
I just,
Um,
one last quick thing. To think I came from being a fan. That's the other thing. I was a fan of the show, and you guys literally invited me on. So, like, another testament to these guys for being so kind and so welcoming in the community.
well, thank you very much. It was a net win for us, John. That's
Absolutely.
yeah. And
And
thank you for your
huzzah for
time.
my very first time playing D&D.
Whoa, really?
On a camera.
And on
Wow.
a camera. This is the
Yeah.
first character I've ever rolled.
Wow.
Wow.
And did beautiful artwork of all of our characters. And thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Love them so much.
And scatter sunshine, love will conquer all. That's the last thing I have to say. Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye, y'all.